Hi, I'm Lee. Please let me know if you can hear me. I never know if this thing is working right when I set it up. I think it is. And let me know if, well actually it'd be really nice if we had anybody here. We got 1 like, 5 viewers. Anybody in the chat here? Let me know. Hello, Brad. Let me know if you can hear me, you guys. I'm not sure how much latency we've got here. If I'm even streaming, it says I am. It says I've been up for a whole minute. Loud and clear. All right. Thank you, Brad. English music. Let me see if I can break this out. Pop out chat. There we go. Well, we'll give it a little bit of time, get some people in here. I really appreciate some likes. If you can send me a like or few on the stream, that would really be awesome. It'll help get a few more people in here. But I'm interested. I haven't fired this up in quite a while. Let me see if I can pull up. So I have played Cities Skylines 2 for a grand total of 42 hours. Does that sound like a lot to you? It sounds like a lot to me. Honestly, I have not been into this game. So I'm interested in seeing what your opinions are of it so far. I know the traffic on all of my City Skylines videos has waned. We'll put it that way. I have not invested a lot of time in City Skylines 2, obviously. Most of it has been live, so you've seen most of my playing on City Skylines 2. I would love to say that I have been totally addicted to this game, but that has not been the case. And so, anyway, just thought I would share that, if that's interesting to you. See, we're up to 20. Ooh, we're up to 21 for a hot minute there. Everybody, if you could give me a like, it would super duper help get more people on the stream. But let's check out. Okay, so first off, I want to say that I really like the idea of, you know what? I wasn't gonna do this, but maybe I am gonna do this. Nah, I'm not gonna do this. I want to go on camera and you guys can see my face and all this while I say all this stuff, but I'm gonna forgo it because my background is a ginormous mess. I didn't set up the backdrop like I could have. Anyway, what I was gonna say is this game launched back in October. In a few weeks, this game will be 6 months old, which means it should at least be able to crawl by now if it was a human. Now, we know that games have much lower lifespans in a lot of cases than human beings do, we hope. And so you'd expect them to at least be able to crawl as soon as they're born. This game has not been able to do much but scoot around on its belly. I would actually really prefer, since I spent $90 on this thing for lots of DLCs and stuff like that, thinking, hey, I trust Colossal Order. They're going to come through. Yeah, I kind of regret that decision now. I might not have gone for the full thing. But hey, I couldn't evaluate it for you guys and save you a whole bunch of trouble if I didn't do this. So it bothers me a lot when I see the editor is a beta and Paradox Mods is a beta. And it's not like Colossal Order just learned, oh, the reason why Cities Skylines 1 was so successful was because of mods. Ah, what a revelation. And maybe being able to customize maps and have custom buildings. You'd think that maybe they would have figured that out, that just maybe that was kind of important when the first City Skylines was released. But they apparently bit off more than they can chew. I've got all sorts of theories on this. I might do a stream or a video or something going through this, because I've learned a few things about the development of City Skylines 2, and I might talk about it a little bit in this stream. But I really feel like they bit off more than they can chew, and they don't have the expertise to get this thing across the finish line. At least they didn't when they built this, and I would say since we're almost 6 months into the game's life, and it's still in this bad a shape, I still think they probably have problems. But yeah, so Paradox Mods, it's nice to see you here. We're surprised that you have joined us in this beta phase as we work towards building a platform that we should have had ready to go 6 months ago. So we would have been able to see all this. I don't know, I would have thought. We want to highlight that Paradox Mods currently supports save game sharing, map, and code mods, which seem like the bare minimum. We are still smoothing out the edges and adding new features, so we appreciate your patience. Together we'll shape Paradox Mods into the ultimate modding playground. Let's create, share, and explore together when we make sure everything is working. Asset mods are currently not supported by City Skylines 2. Once the asset editor is available in-game, then it will also be a beta. So I don't understand exactly why this is a beta. So have any of you guys messed with mods much so far? I have not. I've only got 42 hours in this game, and so I'm really curious what you think as far as all this goes. I haven't bothered to pull any of this down. I am happy to see that we've got Move It and Anarchy, Line Tool, which I don't understand why that wasn't included in the game. That seems like a no-brainer. Hopefully it will be for all you console players. Extra landscaping tools, that also seems kind of like a no-brainer that they probably could have included that in the game more. Better bulldozer, extra lib. What is all this? Okay, so we got a map. That's good. I might actually pull one of those maps if we try to start a new game here. Well, yeah, we definitely unlock all the tiles. That should be interesting. I'm wondering what kind of interesting things happen at the edge of the map in this game. This is something I'm hoping that will be curated out, like this idea that we have test. Like, oh, what is all this stuff? All right, so let's see here. Let's just go with code mods. And I kind of like that this is built into the game so far. FPS limiter. Okay, I'm bothered a little bit that we need this still. That should have really been worked out by the game itself. City Planner has left his mark here. He's got some music, it looks like. That's good. Let's see here. Signature fix. Population rebalance. That's probably one of the first mods I'm going to try. Simtropolis radio network. Okay, so we have radio networks. That's good to see. No garbage trucks. Yeah, I've already gotten mods to get rid of the city services because they're that problematic. The road wear remover. Yeah, that makes sense. Man, I don't know. Yeah, free range camera. There's a lot here already. Historical start. No, that's another one I'm gonna have to try playing around with. Extended transport manager. That's cool. Zoning toolkit. Yeah. So there's some interesting mods up here already that I think are gonna add some stuff that I think are intermediate. You know, like, let's be honest, the zoning toolkit. Yeah, I don't know. I have to look and see what's in there. But some of the zoning stuff that we had in the game in City Skylines 1 was a little bit half-baked, I thought. And some of the stuff that they've added with mods here, I can't help but think that this has got to get added to the base game, because I think there's going to be a revolt on the part of console players if they don't get some of these things, like especially the line tool. That just seems like a no-brainer. I just don't understand how that hasn't already been in the game, to be honest. Let's see, North American. Okay, so these are maps. I don't know what... Okay. Maybe that's going to narrow it down by theme? That's kind of weird. So there's a handful of maps. I don't know if any of them are any good. I'm guessing. Okay, so first off, I wanna say, if you're interested in making maps, please, if you want anybody to use your map and you want people to enjoy your map, do more than just get a base picture in here. If you're just sharing it with a handful of friends, then yeah, this is great. They won't attract a whole lot of attention. But please do something to market your map, and people will be more likely to download it, try it, and recommend it. And that includes us YouTubers. I would definitely be interested in some good maps. So if you guys have some good maps to recommend, I would certainly love to hear about it. Because I'm going to be looking for one just to play around with. I'll probably be editing some of the maps that came with the game too. Anyway, so let me see what you have in the say in the comments section. Okay, some people already liked it. We've got 37 viewers right now. We got 12 likes. Give me a like on the stream. It just brings more people in here. Tells the algorithm, hey, somebody actually wants to watch this and is enjoying it. So it would really help me if you could get a few likes in there. Sorry if I sound like a broken record, but I just got to work with the algorithm here. Jordan Hale says, I've lost most of my interest in both games at this point. It's probably for the best in terms of time management. Yeah, the game is a time suck, but it's a wonderful time suck when it's fun, isn't it? The Real Charter, I'm hopeful for this game, but it's also like climbing Mount Olympus without an environment suit. Yes. Yeah. I almost, yeah, I don't know. I'm really skeptical whether they're going to get this thing across the finish line. I see Kiki Marie H says, Lee! Hello. Hello back to you. Brad Play Cities. Yeah, I've been fully modded both Thunderstore and Paradox. Okay, yeah, I didn't do the Thunderstore thing. I saw that and I was like, yeah, that doesn't look too bad. But I'm kind of glad they got their own modding tool up. Josh Galax says, yeah, I'm not a fan of the roadware. I'm not either. I thought that was kind of dumb. I'm like, that's going to cause wrecks? I live in Cleveland, home of the pothole. And, I mean, Northern Ohio is full of potholes in general. I mean, they do a decent job of taking care of the roads despite that, despite the fact that we're the Rust Belt and nobody invests money in things that aren't absolutely direly necessary right this very minute. But, you know, our roads are all right. But I don't really know that potholes are huge crash causers. I mean, a lot of times it's bad design. And, you know, usually like crazy intersections or whatever. I don't know how you put that into the game. I'd have to think about that a while. I've never thought about that deeply, but I just think roadware seems like a silly thing. JF79, hi Lee, nice to see you online. By the way, please remember that many of us still play CS1. Yes. And I'm interested in getting back into that. I want to get my videos finished. I've been super duper busy, and I really hope that we'll get some things going here. I'm getting a hankering to edit some video and get things moving here. All right, so let's forgo the mods for the moment. I want to know if this game is doing an okay job at this point. So Pleasant Beach is a city I think I brought up last time. I just want to kind of run it for a little while, play around with a few things. Let's pull up the release notes here. I need to do that. Is that gonna be... Oh, you know what? Let me pull that up in Discord. I've got Discord open over here. I think that would be just about as easy. Unless they don't do it that way here. I can't remember how they do the release notes. Okay. They do have that. And is the clock running? It is not. All right, let's zoom in and just see what peruse this city a little bit here. I am not even seeing any informational. I forgot I gotta move the keys. Use the keys to move around here. I don't even see any informational indicators telling me anything at the moment. What's going on with that? That's kind of weird. Did I turn that off? I might have. Settings, options. Wish it would play the music while I'm paused. Gameplay, edge scrolling, day night visuals, start pause, show tutorial. Don't care about that. Graphics, interface. Here we go. Wow, it's unlocked. Chirper pop-ups. Definitely not. And I haven't seen this. Oh, you know what? I think I heard that was install the modding toolchain components required. Yeah, okay. This is all right. So this is something I know somebody brought up. I just want to point this out while I'm in the options screen. This whole modding thing, and it says toolchain state not installed. And you got to install. And it says install modding toolchain components required to develop, not use, but develop code mods for City Skylines 2. So all of this stuff here is if you're going to create mods, not use them. So you don't have to worry about this. I don't think any of that's going to work unless I install it first. So don't worry about any of this unless you're actually going to be mod the game, in which case I'm probably not quite your YouTuber for that. I have not developed any mods as yet, although I do code. It's been a little while since I've picked up C#. Now, I don't understand, where is the... I can't help but think that I maybe turned that off. Maybe it just... Nope, maybe I didn't. That's weird. So far there are no problems in my city, which I have a hard time believing. And let's see if, all right, so here's our beachfront housing right here. North American style single detached waterfront houses. Let's try that. And oh yeah, let's see. Let's take a look at land value here for a second, because I gotta go to info views here. Land value. I used to know where this is. Here. Nope, that's citizen wealth. That's land value. Okay, so I used to have some good land value. Oh, now I'm getting low. Rent is too high. That's all over the place now. That's kind of weird. Is that going to go away if I... No, it is not. All right. Why doesn't that oh, they just don't show up very well. Okay, so there are problems with the rent being too high, which I already knew was an issue. I don't know if that's going to stick around or not. Let's see here. So land value. I used to have a fair amount of land value in the downtown area and along the waterfront. It does not look like that is quite developed back. I don't understand why this is high land value here, being that it is right next to industry. I don't understand why the land value is really low where I've developed. That's usually the opposite of the way that works. Yeah, so I mean, there's like a lot of commercial stuff built through here, a lot of mixed use. So that is mixed use. And what is that? That is office maybe, or commercial? I think that's commercial. Yeah, office is right here. Okay, so that's changing a little bit. I don't know, this is just weird. Why would my land value be much higher there than it is over here? That doesn't make any sense to me. What's everybody saying over here? Sean Manuel, hello, Lee, love from the Philippines. Love to you from Cleveland, Ohio. Kiki says, I have a low-end PC and update did a good job of not melting my GPU. So does that mean, Kiki Marie H, that you have good performance now? Oh, you used City Planner's 100,000 test city for an hour and no fans, go brr. Well, that's, at least they fixed some performance. I mean, yeah, that's good. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. The land value is changing kind of rapidly here. So obviously there's some things filtering into the simulation. And you'll just have to pardon my sarcasm as I do all of this, because I'm very, very heavy with it, because very heavy with skepticism. I'm trying to kind of cross-examining what has been claimed to have been done to improve this game. I can't help myself on that. I don't feel like I trust everything I've been told because, obvious reasons. Simulation reset after patch took quite a while for me. That makes sense, Brad. Tygon says, finally the chat window loads. Hey, y'all. Yeah, it took a while for you. Jordan says, I think there is a setting to play music while paused. Oh, really? Interesting. Hey, you know what I'm noticing just now is that I haven't heard any annoying... Oh, I don't want ads. No ads. I turn that off. How come I can't turn ads off? Oh, now the ads are off. That's weird. Well, hopefully I don't hear any people talking in the background, because I really don't want that, at least on some of these radio stations. I don't want any ads, none of that stuff. No, thank you. Where do you set that? Let's try that. Options, audio. No, I don't know. If somebody knows where that is, let me know if you know where that is, to get the audio to play, the music to play during pause. It didn't in the old City Skylines either, so it's not really a shock that they would make it work that way. Josh says, I miss Reddington too. Yeah, I want to bring Reddington back. I do. I needed to spend some time away from City Skylines 2 and kind of adjust to this whole thing. City Skylines 2 has incited a lot of grief in me. The 5 stages of grief. What is it? Denial. I was in denial on the day of, because on the day of launch, I couldn't believe the things were as broken as they were, but they were. And then, what is it? There's bargaining. I've got a video I've been working on that is bargaining. I might actually make it now. I needed to wait for something big to happen again to draw interest back to the game, because I just felt like everybody was getting into a state of I don't care, of apathy. And that's sort of more of the acceptance type of thing. So let's see here. We've covered denial, bargaining, anger. Oh yeah, lots of anger. Had that. Depression. I don't know. Maybe a little bit of that. I was kind of excited about this, but I tried not to get that excited because I knew it would lead to something like depression. Plus, there's so many other great games out right now that I've really enjoyed. So, let's not get too serious about all this. Let's see. Are these low rent? I don't understand why these low rent things have such a hard time showing up. They really have some graphical things to work out. And why is there so much low rent? That's crazy. Okay, so at least now my waterfront is valuable again. That's kind of nice. But let's see if we can get any beachfront properties to spawn here. North American low density. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, let's just put a few blocks worth right here. Okay, so that's spawning. That's nice to know. And we'll put a few over here. It's all kind of valuable though. And then we'll come over. Well, everything is valuable now. Oh wait, nope. That's what's that, suitability or something like that? I don't know what that is. I gotta go back to land value now. I don't understand what that's actually trying to show me. Okay, yeah, so I got lower land value over here, I got higher land value over here, so we'll zoom in on that and see what happens. Because I know land value was a huge bug. That was a real problem. Gurgly, Varju, I believe you are the elf, by the way. Thank you for your support on the channel. Also want to thanks to Chris Cullen, I don't know if he's here, and to Viscosity. also big supporters of the channel. I really appreciate them. My philanthropist Patreons. But the elf says, bargaining, can I play WRSR, Workers and Resources Soviet Republic instead, please? Pretty please. Excellent game, high learning curve. I have some video ideas I'm going to work on for that too. It's just a matter of getting the time to make them and the energy. Am I noticing any performing, if the game is performing better on my machine? It does seem like perhaps it is, honestly. Which is kind of nice. By the way, this would be really kind of a crappy spot to live. So we have exactly the same houses spawning. The same. All of these are exactly the same architecture. Some of them have satellite dishes or not. Some of them have slightly different yards. I don't know if there's any significance to any of that. But most of the yards are exactly the same too. Except that one's got a square umbrella and this one has a round one. It even looks like they have this. Is that a swimming pool? That's a really small swimming pool. Or is that a hot tub? I don't know. That's weird. I wouldn't expect it to be that small. At least not on a beachfront. Maybe level 2 will be more exciting. Is that? Oh, no, that's not level 2. Okay, this one's going to upgrade here. So what's going to look like then? Oh, bummer. Just play the next song. No. Yeah. Colossal Order. Somebody needs to figure out how to make that not be a thing. Because it's annoying to have that. Alright, so wait, I don't get it. This upgraded to level 2. But I don't see any evidence making it look level 2-ish. It's still exactly the same. Well, at least they're wealthy. Let's check out the other side here. Where did I build those? Okay, over here. So basically the same thing going on here. So, I don't know what to make of that. That's weird. And then some of these are not filling in. I'm pretty sure I zoned them. Yep, I did. They're not filling in, though. Oh, yeah. And that's a lot of that is because this is another thing. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine. Okay, the unemployment isn't even really that low, that high. It's still closer to 10% than I'd really like to see it. But this game really expects you to use a lot of real estate for jobs, and I don't really like that, which is why I'm probably going to get that population rebalance mod. Let's see here. Did they fix the broken gridding when making box and rectangle plots? I have not checked that, but I can. Okay, time's getting unfriendly for this Aussie night. Oh, well, good night, Brad. Thanks for jumping on. See here. Did I miss anybody? Okay, Tygon, Josh. I wish they'd let you turn off ads. Maybe that can be a mod. Yeah, the ads aren't really the thing that's bothering me. It's the dumb radio announcer things, because I've got the ads turned off. I would think that would just let it just play music all the time, but it doesn't do that. Tygon, if you want to see exactly what the assets have, you can load the editor and plop them down. You can look through what's in the assets, chance of prop X spawning. Okay, that's good to know. Oh, you can load the assets up in the editor, but they don't have asset editing, or do they have asset editing? I'm confused on that one. Gaming ages, level 2 is the same as level 1. Level 3 is different and level 5 is different. That's weird. I don't really know what the levels are supposed to be for then. I don't know, that's really weird to me. Does that mean that they put a solar? Oh, that's what the difference is. Nope, that's not what the difference is. I thought maybe, oh, they put a solar array so they can be off grid. Nope. Oh, they're all level 1. I don't know why these zones here have not spawned yet. Which is weird. Did I put that in? Yeah, I did. That's a 6. That's weird. Yeah, I'll have to do that. I just hope that they don't have announcers coming on. All right, so let's see if the gridding thing is any better. I've got some area over here that I could try to grid up here. Grid now. All right, so 384. Or 376. I don't know, I can't tell. All right, well, let's just do... Why don't I see... Man, I missed... You know what? Honestly, I think the road building was easier in the first one. There are some things that I really prefer from City Skylines 1. Yep, and that's wrong. I guess I can't tell. It doesn't give me a guideline, like one would think. Also, I don't know if Colossal Order realizes this, but beachfront properties, I would think that they might have put some commercial in there for that. Mixed use. Because a lot of beachfront, there's usually like a pier and a whole bunch of shops and stuff along beachfronts. I am not loving this. Yeah, I don't like the way the bulldozer works either. Used to be able to just like highlight a bunch of stuff and then it's like, oh yeah, I'll just bulldoze everything you've highlighted. In the old game, I don't know why they changed it. Just, you know, sometimes it's nice to have some things stay the same. Unless you can find a remarkable improvement. I don't feel like they remarkably improved the bulldozer here. But that's probably why there's a mod on the workshop for it. Okay, so it is now nighttime. By the way, that's what I need to look at. I need to look for a mod that lets me turn off the stupid weather. So my mission right now is going to be to do that. I don't know. I have to... It's really hard to know what all is going on. All right, let me see if I can find any... All right, so that's been abandoned. Why? Does it tell me why? Not enough. Oh, that's not abandoned. It's just struggling due to lack of customers. How could that possibly be? Thought that was already pretty close to everything. It's not like a lot of... I don't know. Like, okay, so it bugs me. How do you get a zoning map? Like a real zoning map. The zones just don't show up like they did in the old game. And it's because they have this whole suitability thing that they pop up with and customers and all that other stuff. It's just, it's too much. All right, so look at how much commercial I have zoned all over the place. It's everywhere. And then I have this purple here. Then I've got some office buildings, a pretty fair amount for the size of city I have. I don't even have 30,000 sims, and it's still pretty heavy. And then I've got a lot of specialized industry, but I don't think it employs very many people either. You know, and that's the thing, you know, I don't know, like agriculture. Oh man, I really hate the way they have these fields here too. I hate to be super critical, but it is really easy to be critical of this because this is crazy. So you've got your farm right here. That's the center of everything. But you're not going to have all of these buildings just randomly out in the middle of the field. It's just not going to happen like that. I don't know what they were thinking when they came up with this. And then I think I've got some animal ones out here. Or maybe this is, yeah, actually this is vegetable farms. So it would make sense that they'd have greenhouses, but I think they would have them close to the road and not just, you know, in the middle of the field, middle of the vegetables. That one is... What kind is this? Oh, it's grain. Okay, so at least the grain looks reasonable. That's good. Grain again. But for whatever reason, when you do livestock, it wants to put all sorts of buildings everywhere randomly, which is just weird. Do I have any others? Oh, you know what? Then there's forestry. And you'd think the forestry would actually, you know, maybe have some paths or something to, you know, groom trees. I've actually seen these in the Pacific Northwest. If you go to Oregon, there's all sorts of these places. You drive down I-84 after you come out of the Blue Mountains, and there's a whole bunch of these things. It's actually, I don't know what it is. It's a weird thing maybe I like to do, but I look out the window and I like to look straight down the rows of the trees, or the rows of corn, or whatever it is that's growing, and it looks kind of cool because you can see the space all the way down, and it kind of just flashes along. It looks kind of cool when you do that. But there's no rows. It's just, I don't even remember. I remember trying to build a street, and I'm like, why can't I build a street here? And it's because I've got this forestry thing here, and I totally forgot it was even there because it really doesn't make its presence very well known because of the way the game works. Oh, hey, what's this again? That's rock. So, of course, this whole thing is just rock now. That doesn't make any sense to me either. Are they quarrying rock? If that's the case, then wouldn't there be like shovels digging through here or equipment digging? And wouldn't it leave a hole? Wouldn't it affect the terrain? I mean, that's usually the way that kind of thing works. Just not really into the specialized industry. I mean, I think that it had promised the way they came up with, but I think they kind of botched the implementation, you know. So many changes to the simulation. I don't know. It's really hard to tell. Drawcart. I'm trying to figure that out, and I don't really know what to make of it. Let's see what the schools are doing. So that school's pretty well full. I'm not really fond of the way they made schools work either, but I'm not sure. You know, the thing is I don't know what's actually working the way it's supposed to and what's not. So there's lots. Oh, yep, we still have that problem. So there's tons and tons of people going to elementary school. Let's see the numbers. This is probably going to be fun. Education. Elementary school. There are almost 6,000 eligible students at a capacity for 4,500. And yet three people are refusing to go to school even though they should. Okay, maybe it's just 2 now. And then all those elementary school students, and I really haven't expanded the city very much because it's annoying to try to because of the way the unemployment situation works. I can't get enough employment to keep everybody busy. So I built a high school, and there's only somehow 634 are eligible. I should have, I would think, thousands. I should have more than I have for college. I mean, the college has almost 3 times as many eligible, and it's nearly full. I don't understand the university has more full. I should have tons more high school students. Like, not everybody should be going to college, but just about everybody should be going to high school. At least that's how it works in the States. You know, primary, secondary education, then, you know, post-secondary education right here. I don't understand what's going on here.
A driving advisory has been issued for the immediate area due to poor road conditions. Please exercise
poor road conditions.
And
nope. Nope.
Industry.
Nope. Thank you. That's annoying. I got to get a mod for that. If you can recommend me one, throw it in the chat for me, please. Do you play with developer mode switch? If so, you can turn off participant. Oh. So, you know, I did not realize that. I don't think I have the developer mode switch turned on. I have to do that. I think I went into that once. Oops, I don't want to do that. There we go. I think I went into that once. Why does it hide as soon as I angle it? Do I have to look straight down? Lack of customers usually means they don't have enough profits. Yeah, well, I mean, if they don't have enough foot traffic for customers, then yeah, they're not going to have enough profit. Hit the checkbox to turn off the extra information you don't want to see. Oh, right. It's the zoning thing. Yeah, I'll do that. I don't need the buildings. I don't care about signatures. You know, honestly, I don't care about any of this stuff. I just want to see the zones. Okay, so I can kind of see it there. But having to turn all these on and off is cumbersome, to say the least. Oh, look, I can see all the zones now. That's weird. Is that always a thing? Oh, okay, that might be practical. I could live with that. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like that I have to look at it. I can't look at it at an angle without everything disappearing. That's got to be a glitch. Oh, look at that. Total glitch city here going on. What is with this? Obviously, there's something wrong with the rendering. And that's part of the thing that I would love to discuss. I need to kind of brush up on that, because it's been a while since I was researching it. Does not matter what they do, you will always be negative. Oh, are you talking about my... Okay, it does matter what they do. I take great exception to that. I am not interested in presenting a balanced viewpoint. I am interested in and showing an objective viewpoint. You can have 99 people all say something is great, and one person says it's bad. And when that happens, you could present, both sides and say it's balanced. But is it objective? Because those 99 people could be wrong, or they could be right. That one person could be wrong, or it could be right. Or they could all be both a little wrong and a little right. But things are usually not just, like, objectively, the game has huge issues for being almost 6 months old. This is honestly pathetic. It's really bad. This is not what I am used to at all. And this game does not... Like, I mean, look at this. How much money am I making? I have 3,000 in service upkeep, and yet I am pulling in insane amounts of taxes. I don't have a loan. I don't need to. I could go with lower tax rates. Well, let's just try that. Let's just go to 5% here. We'll cut it in half, and I'll still be making insane amounts of money. Budget. So yeah, I'm still gonna end up making, so maybe we cut it down to 3%, which is, by the way, way lower than anybody ever gets taxed in real life. Okay, now I'm only making $1 million a month, which is much more realistic, but in all honesty, if I'm banking that kind of money in real life, I have a revolt on my hands as a mayor, because people are wondering, where's all my tax money going? It should not be just going into a bank account. I need services that I am going to benefit from, or I need a tax cut so that I don't have to spend all my money giving it to the government. That's just the way it is. That's real life. The citizens will hold you accountable for that. Production. Yeah, I haven't looked at this a whole lot here, but I don't really know that this means anything, because what am I supposed to do with any of it? Here's the other thing that bothers me is I'm making all this. Okay, so how do I have a deficit on any of this stuff? That doesn't even make any sense. I'm producing a ton of this stuff. And I should probably have to produce a ton of raw materials or a bunch of manufactured goods, and it looks like there's a fair amount here, but it also looks like there's a massive deficit. And this is probably the real reason why the economy doesn't work. Now, I don't understand why I would be making a ton of software and have a massive surplus there that is also measured in tons. That's fun. Telecommunications, financial, media. This is probably because I have a decent infrastructure for all this stuff, but you know, I have built quite a lot of factory, I would think, at least enough for a town this size, and I just have nowhere near the supply to keep up with it all. And I'm not even supplying enough for my my regular goods here. I've got a little cotton surplus, but all this other stuff here is just, I'm getting killed, and I actually am making quite a lot of it. I don't know. The idea, though, that it doesn't matter what you do, I'll always be negative. No, that is not true. Go back, watch some of my stuff about what Colossal Order did with the original City Skylines, and watch my first live stream of City Skylines 2. I gave them the benefit of the doubt. They have jerked us around too much for me to give that to them anymore. So I'm going to hold their feet to the fire at this point. And I've got a video that's kind of come on this. Maybe even a couple of videos. I've been working on this for forever. I got some things I want to say, some historical context I want to add, because some people weren't around for the city building genre back when it began. But my first city builder was SimCity, which is pretty early on in the city builder genre. So I want to add some context to that and show what it looks like to be do it right, and what it looks like to do it wrong. Because Colossal Order is not the first company to screw this up. I really question whether they're going to be able to get this done. I have huge doubts because of some technical decisions that they made. I don't think that were very wise. So yeah, I will not always be negative. I will give credit where credit is due, but objectively, this is still a bad game from what I'm seeing so far. The fact that we don't even have baseline things that happened on City Skylines 1 when it was released, it's just beyond me. I don't understand it. I don't know how that happened. We shouldn't have betas for mods. I mean, all that stuff should be baked in, and it should be great. And they should be improving on it instead of just trying to get it up to par. It's below par at this point. So I have every right to be negative and angry because I did pay money for this game, just like anybody else who's playing it. Gaming images. I have the row of trees directly across the street from my house. It's kind of creepy to look at during nighttime. Oh, yeah. The high school thing is baffling to me. Also, I've played 600 plus hours of the game and still can't figure it out. Yes, and I think that's because something's broken or just not implemented. We're going to go over the release notes in a second here, because I think that's going to add some insight here. Tygon says they've mostly gone through your demographic breakdown, probably has a big dip in it for teenagers. Okay, let's look at that. That's a good idea. I didn't think to look at that, and I should have. Where do I find that? Is it under here? No, it's not going to be under here. I don't think they put any of the graphs, at least not those kinds of graphs. That's not in here, is it? That's where they used to have it. It was kind of a dumb place for it. I don't think it's there. Where is that graph? Anybody who wants to chime in and give me an idea where that is, I would love that, because I have obviously not spent enough time with this thing to try to figure it out. Maybe I need to do... Nope, that's not it either. Where do I find that graph? I know I've seen a graph, but nope, that's all that thing. That's not what I'm looking for either. Event journal. Go away. Nope. Okay, so I have unoccupied buildings. That's nice. I have unoccupied industrial demand. I have high skilled labor availability. I don't have low. How do I not? I don't understand how I'm supposed to have so much material. So basically, I am running a Rust Belt city at this point because I've got a lot of abandoned buildings, probably. Where is that? Okay, all right. I'll just pull up that. Nope, that's not what it is. All right, so teens, yeah, 9.3%. That is weird though because I don't know. All right, so let's look at that ratio. That ratio of teens to children is about a little over 2 to 1. So at some point, the kids should eventually turn into teens. I'm not growing the size of the city, you know, much. So it should be able to, you know, increase there and end up with some of these kids turning into teens faster than we end up with more kids. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll go back to that. Thank you for that, Tygon. There used to be graphs. I thought, is this it? No. Where is the graphs? They had graphs before in the old game. I don't understand where that... I thought I could have sworn I've seen that. Oh, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Citizens? No. Ah, bummer. Age. Yes. Time scale. Okay, so I don't get that. Oh, man. Seriously? It doesn't go back in time? You gotta be kidding. This is useless. Well, I hope they fix this too, because the old game actually would keep track of all of this over time. And goodbye. Okay, so the old game actually had a graph that would go back and, you know, would maintain all this stuff. It wasn't just for the current session. This only goes back to July 2025. That's not even useful. If I bail out of the game and I start up again, is this all going to go away? That's just not right. I don't get it. Yeah. All right. So at least I found the graphs again. Okay. Let's see here. Do you have any anti-aliasing set to TAA by any chance? Oh, is that what the problem is? I do actually, because it is the much prettier anti-aliasing. TAA. Where is anti-aliasing quality? Where's the... Yeah, that's what I want. Show advanced. I'm pretty sure I am running TAA. I saw something about that being... yeah, we'll try that. See what happens. I just feel like it looks uglier that way. Although this doesn't look too bad. Yeah. So TAA is the problem. I didn't realize that. Thank you for pointing that out, Tygon. Drakart. So, okay, so the game needs another year at least. I don't know. I don't know. You know, if you don't have the right team, you can have all the years you want and it still won't get done. Just my opinion. Also my observation from real life. Spending a lot of time in IT. Doing business applications. Not games, but business applications. Sakumaran, while buying the tile, can you please check whether you're able to see the box to purchase? Oops, not that. This is it. Am I able to see the... Oh, I see. This box, I imagine you're probably thinking of. I can purchase. You may not have enough available to purchase. I don't really know. Josh, the reviews reflect the reality of what Lee is talking about. Yes, I agree. I know people, everybody was willing to give Colossal Order the benefit of a doubt at the beginning, but then their PR campaign has just been miserable. Stuff like, oh, well, maybe this game isn't for you. Oh, the deep simulation, but there's no deep simulation. And I want to go over the release notes because I want to prove some of this stuff. But hold on to that thought. When we talk about deep simulation and we make simulation games, stuff that Marina has said, I have to take some exception to some of that. We'll talk about that in a second. Josh says the new DLC has horrendous reviews. It does seem sort of pointless from what I'm seeing. They get 4 trees and a few houses from the looks. You can't even build a beach. I mean, I can build a beach in Workers of the Resources Soviet Republic, and that game, yeah, it's different. It's a different kind of game, and that's not really a thing that everybody is looking to do in that game, but you can still do it. Josh also says one user even pointed out that there are chairs on the roof but no ladder to get up there. Like, how do you miss that kind of detail? That's a good question. Good architect, I suppose. Gaming Ages, I know it wasn't large, but it wasn't the full season pass. Most think of it as a full DLC. Yeah, it really isn't a DLC. It's an asset pack. I will give them that, but for $10, it's not a very good asset pack. It's more of a $3 asset pack, not a $10 asset pack. I think they're overselling what they're doing. It's a bit much. Jordan Hale, thank you for speaking about the game. Objectively, I'm tired of people covering for the developer. What they deliver is what we are paying for, and the product should be where judgment is derived. Yes, I agree. Gaming Ages, the house pack is the equivalent of getting a character for a fighting game during a season pass. Agree there. Joseph, how's the game right now? Didn't touch the game since last month. It's, about the same. I don't think it's any better by enough to make me want to play it again. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to mess with this that much after I get off this live stream or not. I'm kind of thinking not at this point. I'm a little... Okay, so let's look at this. I'm a little frustrated that I have to do... Oh, I don't even know what I just did. Oh, I just changed the speed. Trying to get to my keyboard and I overshot by a row. But one of the things that bugs me is that, okay, so this is efficiency is 114% because of employee happiness. That's great. Not enough employees. Well, we could have a couple more and that would make things all better. But 44 employees is the most that you're going to get out of that little bitty building. That building looks kind of large to only have 44 people in it. I mean, it's like three floors. So the first floor is going to have 10 people on it. That floor is going to have 10 more. Maybe this floor has 20 because maybe they're all accountants and they all sit in cube. I don't know. It's an office building. There should be more people than that in there. This industrial building, almost meet. Yay. You've got 32 employees in this building, and that seems sort of realistic, honestly. I'll give them that. 129% efficiency. Okay, that's great. 18 there. I don't know. It seems like I need to zone an awful lot of business to get anything to happen, especially when it comes to offices and services. It just 35 people in this whole building. That's like 10 people per floor. Look at how many windows there are in this building. So that maybe what's this? Ooh, I can, from the humble toaster to the self-organizing sock drawer, this factory makes everything that runs you. Okay, that's great. So we got a guy in that office, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm gonna guess that there would be another row of guys on the other side, but not all the way across the floor. But so maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's probably like 12 people that work on that floor. 12 times 3, and those are huge offices. You got to be honest. I got to be honest. There's going to be a few of these that are going to have like 4 or 5 people working in them. They're not all going to be executive suites. It's just not a realistic number. There's way too much office that you need to get any office workers in the entire city. It's dumb. And I thought that they were going to fix that, and I'm disappointed in the way that's played out. The other thing is, okay, so I've got 39 employees working livestock here. I don't know, with the number of buildings, I don't know, maybe that's about right. Based on what little, I do know a little bit about agriculture. I did grow up in an agricultural area. I don't think that they really even have this many employees. Like 46, you're not going to have, not full time. That's the other thing. Agriculture is really seasonal. A lot of this raw material stuff is really seasonal. Obviously mining isn't. I don't understand what they were trying to do here. So that's livestock. That's got a bunch of people. Like livestock might be a little more intensive. It just depends on how the operation is run. But yeah, I don't know. And I would think that vegetable farming, greenhouses, that kind of thing, you're going to have more people there. That makes sense to me. But one of the things that doesn't make sense to me either is we have businesses like this in Northern Ohio, and I've become familiar with them because I knew people who worked at these places. And, so you'd have the greenhouse, and that's great, but then you'd have a warehouse or something, and you'd have a whole shipping operation to get stuff where it needs to go, or you'd have a shipping operation that just handled distribution, and that might be somewhere else, like, over here in this part of town, you might have a warehouse or something, or a shipping and receiving center that would put all this stuff, come over here, back up the truck, and you'd fill that thing up with plants, and then off you'd go. Or maybe you'd fill it up with, this is vegetables. So you'd fill it up with vegetables and you'd take it off to the processing plant. I don't know. I feel like there's a few things that don't make a whole lot of sense in the way they did industry. And I don't know. It's weird to me. I don't know how many jobs I have. I'd really love to know. Jobs. I get 16,000 jobs. I think that should easily support a population of about 32,000. Maybe more, depending on how many kids everybody has and how many seniors you have. We've got 10% are seniors. So those seniors are going to be retired. They're not going to be working. And that's going to, increase the size of the population, but they're not going to take up jobs. They might create some demand for jobs. So my unemployment has actually dropped. So at least that, okay, so this is actually balancing out a little bit more the way I would expect it to. It's trending in the right direction at least. So that's good. So, in my defense, when I'm saying, it'll never be good enough. Hey, this is better. I'm pointing this out, that this is better than it was before the new patch. I don't know if it's better enough for me to care, but it is at least trending in the right direction. Like maybe they did something to fix the economy some. I still think it's a little off. So hopefully maybe I can get, more people to move in here, which has been happening. We have added almost 1,000 people, or at least a few hundred people, without adding any significant amount of zoning. I haven't had all the zoning fill in though. So that's kind of weird. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, those are some thoughts I have on that. I don't know if they've done anything to make commercial make any more sense than it did. So we've got a lot of people selling furniture here. Now, this is another thing I don't know is are these people always here selling furniture, or do they work part-time and they have part-time jobs selling furniture different days of the week? Or is the furniture store open for a long time? Is the drugstore open a long time? Like 38 employees. I'll be honest, this sounds a little high for a drugstore, but maybe if it's a really fancy drugstore and we're talking about all the different shifts and it's open 24 hours or it's open, most of the day, like 6 a.m. to midnight or something like that, then I guess that makes sense. A couple shifts worth of people. 17 now seems a little more reasonable. Although with a car customs shop, I would think that maybe it would have more people unless it's just selling goods, accessories or something like that for cars. Beverages, yeah, for a store, I don't know if you have a lot of employees necessarily, at least for a store that size. This one here, we've got 49 people living in it, which I don't know how I feel about. Is that building? Okay, maybe that's a decent number right there. How many people is that per floor? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 floors of residential. Five floors of residential, and we got 49 residents. That's about, yeah, I don't know. I think that's okay. That's decent. 14 employees on the bottom selling convenience stuff might be a little high, at least here in the U.S. Maybe if you got a deli in there, you got a butcher, you know, or a deli guy running things. You might have a cashier or two running there. You might have a stocking person, but usually one person wears a lot of hats in a place like that. This one here, selling electronics. I don't know. That seems kind of high too for a store. Oh, and selling food. Grocery stores usually have a higher number of employees to square feet, square meters, if you're not from around here. Okay, so let me see if I can catch up on some of this stuff. How's the game? Didn't touch the game since last month. Yeah, me either. You have PT Mine turning it off to show if it affects traffic at all. PT. I have public transit? Oh, yeah, I'm not going to mess with that right now. That is a decent question, but I think that we can maybe get an idea of how that's working. Let's see here, pull up the line view here. So I've got 3 passengers, 8 passengers, 2 passengers, 17, 20. How many are on each of these things? So these trams are really not carrying that many people. And the stops don't really have a whole lot of people waiting at them either. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of frustrated with how the transit works. It doesn't seem like it collects a lot of people. That's Park Avenue, which is mostly just a cross-town route. Bridge Street is a little different. Where is a tram? So this one doesn't get much use either. And I don't really know exactly why the usage does not get super high. I haven't played this game enough. I haven't been invested in enough to care to know. Oh, we got a super chat. Blake says, "Hey Lee, nice to see you checking out the game. Curious to know if you still plan to showcase some urban planning projects using CS1. Yes, I do. Actually, I have some that I want to do with CS2 because CS2 does have some pretty nifty road stuff going on. I would like to use some of that. I also want to do some comparative things because I want to really stress how it is that you can follow terrain when you build. And I've got some ideas on how to explain that using several different games to show it for all of them. Because some games I think are better at explaining that than others. So, yes, I do have some more stuff going on for City Skylines 1. I feel like that game, at least I understand what's going on or what's supposed to be going on and whether it's actually working right and whether I made a mistake. Because, you know, in that game when something happens, it's either a weird quirk in the game that we all know if we've been playing it for a while and we understand it, or it's, you know, something we did, which I like that kind of thing. I don't really know what to do about this game at the moment because it just seems like what you do is kind of immaterial to what actually happens. It just doesn't matter still. So yeah, I don't know. Let's look at land value here. We've let this run a while. Let's see if the land value has changed a lot. I don't really care about. So I've got high land value out here, but that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Why would it be so high out here? What is there to draw? Is it just the height of the land? I don't know if that has anything to do with it. And the waterfront is not consistently necessarily desirable. Downtown seems to be, but for some reason they want to be here, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because the hospital and the service buildings overlap some? I don't know. That's weird. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I still feel like there's stuff they haven't fixed. But thank you for the super chat, Blake. Let's see here. While purchasing tile, we are not able to see the box. Yeah, I didn't have any trouble with it. I did give it a try. I'll just do it one more time just to drive it home here. Whoops. I will buy these tiles. There it is. Purchased it. So it works for me. There could be something going on that's making it not work for you. Oh, good thing this is abandoned. And why is it abandoned? It has been abandoned by its occupants. Thanks for the information. That's another thing they need to fix in this game. The other game always told you why something happened, which was very useful in being able to troubleshoot things. Tygon says it does affect traffic. Imperator's experiment wasn't exactly scientific and soundly debunked very quickly. Yeah, I don't know what. I haven't looked into all that. I'd be interested in figuring that out too. I'll be honest with you. When I played City Skylines 1, I think pocket cars kind of, and just the despawning stuff and everything sort of wrecks public transportation a bit and makes it really hard to tell if it's actually making any difference. Because I've turned off all the public transportation in the original game. Like, I think it was part 5 of More Money, Less Traffic, the first series that I made, where I did that, and it didn't make as much of a difference as I expected it to. I used a lot of buses, so I don't know, maybe that was why. The game doesn't seem to like buses, although it seems to love them much. I don't know. It's really weird. So I don't really know what to think about all of that. Whether this game is very affected by that or not. One thing I will tell you is that I don't find... Where is the traffic info view? I don't care about post. Land value. Where's traffic? I thought I could find this really easily. Oh, here it is. Yes, traffic. I've found this traffic info view to be not all that useful for a few reasons. Mainly being that it just seems to be too sensitive. So like this is in the middle. Where do I have good traffic? I have traffic that is good when I'm way out in the middle of nowhere and nothing is happening, or on a street that doesn't have anything built on it. So, okay, yeah, whatever. And then I have bad traffic on some of these streets, supposedly, but where is it? I don't see any traffic. So I don't understand where it comes up with that. Yeah, I mean, like, this bridge is fine, and then suddenly, oh, the interchange is not. And there's 1, 2, 2. So why isn't that, like, practically green? And this here is green only because it doesn't go anywhere. So I just don't find this very useful. I think they need to perhaps colorize this a little differently so that it, because here's the thing with traffic is that if you've got the traffic at 50% capacity, it's probably not really big. A road at 50% capacity is probably not really super difficult to deal with versus 40% or 30% or 20 or 10. But when you go over 50%, I would say, and maybe you start getting into like between 70 and 80%, huge difference. 80 to 90%, huge difference again. You know, traffic is just something that it's really bad when it's really bad, but it's fine the rest of the time. So we don't need to make it look like it's worse than it is. It just makes it really hard for us to find what's actually bad. And I don't know exactly what they're using to quantify traffic flow, because it just doesn't seem like what they're quantifying really makes much sense. I do like that they added traffic volume. I don't know. I feel like traffic volume sort of gives you the idea of what I'm talking about here. That I think the colorization is a little weird here again, but you know, this pink, that's super heavy duty, but what I don't understand is why they use the purple, and then if it's really bad, it's pink, which sort of blends in really well with the orange, which is not so bad. I don't know, the color scheme is weird. So yeah, I'm going to be critical of that. So this is supposed to be worse. That's a little better, although it looks like it should be worse. Then it gets worse again. And then it gets really worse. And then it gets really, really worse. And then it gets a little better. You know, so that's traffic volume for you. And then when we compare this against traffic flow, that's green, that's orange. I realize this is a lower capacity, but what's the excuse over here? Is it because I have more lanes? No, the lanes are the same. Yeah, I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's weird. It's not a lot of rhyme or reason to that. Wait, what's going on over here? And why aren't they putting the fire out? Well, let's see if there's any animations for the fire trucks. Ooh, we've got a car fire. Here comes the fire truck. And no animations yet. Not that I think that's high priority. I just think that, you know, obviously they're going to add that. They said they were. And that's nice, but that's not the thing I'd prioritize. I would do some other things first. Okay, we're good. Okay. Josh Gellick, SimCity 2013 was a disaster. Yeah, it was. And I'm going to actually talk about that. That's a video I'm making. Michael Pearson is really sad to see what is becoming of City Skylines. I agree. I think what's happened with the fan base is actually the worst thing. Gonna talk about that too. I got a video. I got to work on that video. I got to get that up. Let's look at the... Yeah, I don't think this is going to have changed. Let me just look at this really quickly. Okay, so we have 10% teens now. We should see an appreciable increase in high school enrollment, and I don't really see that. Nah, I don't really see that. Okay. Mulbian Bree? SimCity the franchise or SimCity 1000? I'm talking about SimCity, like the very first one before they had a SimCity 2000 or The Sims or any of the other stuff. Just for the record, if that's what that question was addressed towards. Tygon says the chart's behind the icon of the bar chart. Yes, found that. And let's see real quick. Age. Kids, teens. Yeah, it's not really showing me a lot. Let's look at the education thingy here. Oh, no, that's not what I want. I want this thing. Does it have enrollment? Education. No. It doesn't really break that down enough for me to be able to find anything useful on it. That would be great if it did. Oh well. That wasn't in the first one either though, so Should be 2,000 high school students if it's a 2-to-1 ratio. Yes. Yes, that is true. Actually, yes. Yeah, that is actually very right. So, yeah, we're way off on that. It doesn't make any sense. Jordan Hale, those graphs have been broken since day one, unfortunately. Not shocked to hear that. Tygon says it probably only goes back to the start of the version, which dropped on Monday. That could be too. I could find out if I just quit and reloaded. I'm glad you checked the graph. I would never have caught it since I never look at them anyway. We'll check my saves. Yeah, let me know what you find, Gaming Ages. Tygon says TAA is broken in this version. CO are aware and working on a fix. Okay, explains that. At least I haven't seen everything go into, what did they call it? Oh, I don't know. It was like a cotton candy mode. All the trees would just turn into like, I don't remember what it was they called it. But I know the YouTubers had some kind of term that they used for what happened when the all of a sudden the game would start shortcutting all of the rendering on all of the 3D objects, especially the trees. It looked like Dr. Seuss decided to take over the art department at Colossal Order. The tile thing is also related to TAA. Okay, I don't know. I'd have to go back to TAA to see if I still have the problem with the tile thing. The elf says you can only build a beach if the party approves building company resorts for workers in the 5-year plan. Yeah. That's a Workers and Resources Soviet Republic reference. Tygon says, have you checked out the price of the Waterways expansion pass? That contains all the stuff being released up to and including bridges and harbors. I have not. I just know I paid $90 for the pre-launch, the pre-order. And I don't know if they've done anything else. I haven't been keeping track of that. Josh says that's a lot of factories. Michael Jones says my game keeps crashing since the update. That is not good. The elf says those buildings have limited number of employees because the rest become immigrants you buy with dollars in Workers and Resources Soviet Republic to work in proper factories. Yeah. Yeah, I like that line of thinking. Jordan Hale says, as an accountant, I concur. They definitely pack more of us in there in reality. Yes, they do. I don't know. I've seen better accounting departments, some better than others. And IT is the same way. At least the accountants usually get Windows. IT usually gets stuck in the basement. It's pretty bad. Gaming Ages. Let's see here. The asset pack is overpriced. I don't think that that's in line with inflation. I have to disagree with you, Gaming Ages. I think maybe $5 would be maybe in line with inflation. Maybe $4, but not $10. This is a $3 asset pack at best, in my opinion. I would not buy it. I would not recommend it unless you really like palm trees. They really need to fix the buildings on the field with farms. Agree. The elf says your distribution offices are built in a different game. It is true. Man, $20. The CS2 expansion pass is €50 on Steam. 44 pounds in UK. The elf employees in stores, normally you have more shifts. Yeah, I would assume that. Depends on how much the store is open. Draw card. I mean, City Skylines had its limitations, but at least they tried giving those available a life. Imperator made the test turning off all public transportation, and it didn't change a thing in regards to traffic in CS2. Thank you, Blake. I'm always happy to answer questions. Hey, it's Chris. B-Ball Joe. Hey there, glad to see you're still around. I am still around. Drawcart says the thing in City Skylines 1 is that you need to reset stuck sims every now and again, or traffic wouldn't be affected at all. But if you have public transportation shoving 5,000 people through the sea, then Okay, you lost me on that. There's some typos in there. Make traffic go crazy. Yeah, I did have to reset traffic occasionally. It did make a huge difference to respawn, just respawn everything. I did that many times, and I was always baffled by why that happened. What size of grid do I use? For this game, I went with the basically just about Chicago style size. I think it was 384 by 190. No, 380. No, that's not right. It was 192. Yeah, 192 by 96 is what I did. I think that sounds right. Yeah, 192 by 96 is what I went with, which is close to 200 by 100 meters, which is roughly Chicago size grid. I don't know how many units that is off the top of my head, so I'm just talking meters. Moonbree. The elf says, and he said he can build a beach and work with the resources of the Republic, so let's hope we will see a video about that or a stream. Yeah. You're very welcome, Moonbree. Mobian. Okay, I don't know how to say that one. Potato mode. That's the word I was looking for. Jacob remembered potato mode. That's what everybody was calling it. Which mods are I using? Right now, I do not have any mods in here. Hover over unhappy on the building. Where is unhappy? Oh. I don't know if I have any buildings right now that are telling me they're flat out unhappy. Where's the... Do I have any abandoned buildings? I don't see any currently. Huh. Small homes. But this is... What kind of building is it? I'm not sure. It looks like it's probably lowbrow housing. But I can't remember what the icons mean. They're not very distinctive. I want to see what this thing came out as. Oh, it's level 1. Why would you make the windows face that way? I'd have the windows on the sides, not... Yeah, this is not good asset design in my opinion. I'd have this rotated, because you want these facing the street in most cases, or maybe you don't, but you definitely want them facing the water. Like here we've got stairways, and there's no corner windows. I mean, I guess they have to upgrade so that they have this kind of building. That's only level 1 too. I don't understand. That's weird. Oh well. I don't have any abandoned buildings that I'm seeing right now to be able to check that. Why am I getting so many fires? Phil, are you here? City planner is he's brought his arsonists to my town. Why are there not enough fire trucks putting these fires out? Well, at least that one's out. Okay. How are we doing on employment out here? Whoa, what? Okay, 56 employees is all we've got in here? That seems a little light. Maybe it's not, I don't know. This one here, 22 employees. I could have sworn I built something out here that had a lot of employees, but I guess not. Maybe I dreamt about that, or I demolished it. Okay, still putting out fires over here, I see. it's great that I don't have to do anything and everything gets better.
A driving advisory
Let's
has been
see
issued
what
for the
population
immediate
looks like
area
here.
due to poor road conditions. Please exercise.
So my employment seems to be stabilizing at like 6.5%. Just still a little high, I would think. But it's better than it used to be. I don't know if that's because businesses were moved in or not. I want to know what's up with the rent being too high. High rent. High. The building occupants have trouble paying the rent. A higher zone density or different zoning might be needed. Okay. If I hover over the happy, it tells me everything is great except for that. And these are wealthy. I don't understand how they would be struggling that much. Also, I don't understand why they'd be paying rent. Wouldn't they buy it? Or maybe even have an LLC buy it and then they, you know, rent off the LLC that they own? Getting a lot of fires here. Where are the fire trucks? Dispatched. Where are you? There you are. Where are you coming from? Oh, now the whole neighborhood's on fire. That doesn't seem like very good response time. So he's putting out all 3 of these. And then they have to get a dead people out of there. Well, at least I'm not seeing like a whole slew of fire trucks show up in haphazard manners that I am aware of. Take care, Druckart. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, definitely leave a like if you can. All right, let's let this play, and we'll let the rain go in the background, which will be all sorts of fun. Let's look at the release notes here. If you come across any new issues, we'd appreciate a bug report here, or we will be swimming in them probably. All right, so if you got the whatchamacallit, the pre-order, the deluxe pre-order or whatever that I got, then this stuff all comes with it. So, yay. So we get North American waterfront zoning, 30 new buildings, 24 additional variants for each North American and European. I don't know how that plays out because so far I've only really ever seen a few variants of, I don't know, about 30 new buildings. 4 new palm trees, 6 new signature buildings, and I don't know if I can get to those yet or not. 16 new Kongs. Let's try the... Is this the one? We'll see if this is any good. Marketing patch. Whoops, my bad. Modding wavelet patch. Okay, so... Added code modding support, added modding toolchain installation and status, added editor, import-export height map. Okay, that's good. I like that they have built that in. We used to have a mod for that to do a height map. So now you could just grab a height map from someplace, I imagine Train Party. I think it's Terrain Party. Terrain.party is where people would get height maps in the past. So I have to play around with that. That might be pretty cool. So they built that into the game instead of making you have to go get a mod. That's wonderful. Big improvement there. Import resource map. Imagine that must mean you can import a map of where the resources are supposed to go on the map. Select climate, add edit water sources, which I've heard those are really finicky. I don't know if that's gotten any better. Maybe you guys can tell me in the comments what you think about all of that. Where is that? That's what I want. Let's see here. We've got... I'm going to make this a little bigger so you guys can read a little better. Whoops, not that one. Okay. Let's probably change the format a little bit. Okay, performance. Add define map details like name and theme. Okay, that's fine. Performance. Optimize various systems to reduce frame time spikes and overall simulation performance. I don't have anything to like check frame rates, but I really haven't noticed as much frame rate lag. I don't know if it's necessarily smooth. It's a little jerky. You can kind of see over here as we're watching some of this stuff go by, it's not silky smooth. It's okay. I mean, I can tolerate it. It's not bothering me. But it's definitely not smooth. Not as smooth as it could be. It's not 60 frames per second, at least. Okay, so optimize frame time while placing buildings. Optimize slightly some culling scenarios. Okay. Optimize UI rendering, especially widget system for photo mode and options. That's good. Reduce overhead of rendering curves in UI. Okay, so they've done some performance improvements in there too. General fixes and improvements. Added extinguishing sound for firefighting helicopters, which I don't think we have any. Added automatic random rotation when placing single trees, bushes. That's good. That's an improvement. Updated bus stop, bus shelter, taxi stand, taxi shelter, and trams top toolbar icons. Okay. Improved visibility of guidelines on snow. I still... Maybe TIA was making it so I couldn't see the guidelines. Let me check that out. I was definitely having trouble seeing them when I did that box over here. This grid over here. Yeah, and I don't like the anti-aliasing at all. It's really... Okay. Yeah, that was what it was. It was TIA doing it. It was not rendering properly because of TAA. Okay, what I don't understand is... Okay, so this is another thing that bugs me about this box. All right, so right here, I pull this out and I'm like, oh, good, I'm lined up. But I can still change it, and I don't want to be able to... Okay, so now it does give me that. I didn't think it would. Oh, it doesn't. If I get far enough away, it won't show it to me. Yeah, if I get it all the way over here, it won't show it to me anymore. That's really weird to me. Okay. So I put that in there, and voila! Hey, what do you know? The squares actually look right. So I don't know if that's an improvement or not. It works. I don't know if that was broken before. I don't remember. Because I haven't played this game in so long. So, yeah. Next, improved default cursor for better visibility on snow. Don't have any snow, so I can't tell you if that is better. Improved land value system. Okay, so this is the part where I get a laugh about the whole deep simulation thing. Service coverage of healthcare, education, police, and telecom now affects land value, which you would think would be part of a deep simulation. Reachability of commercial services now affects land value. Another deep simulation thing. Stops and stations of public transportation now affect land value. Noise, water, air, and ground pollution now affect land value. Shorelines now affects land value. Added a max limit to land value bonus factor. Replaced building land value info mode with land value source info mode and in land value info view. Rent too high warning notifications are now highlighted when land value info view is active. Added land value tooltip to a cursor which shows the monetary value of the land or building where the building is located when the land value info view is active. Okay, so all that stuff is really useful, but why wasn't it in the original launch? If this is really a deep simulation. When Marina was protesting and saying, you know, we make simulation games, that's what we're good at, in that Road to Launch video, and also when defending, you know, different aspects of what was going on in the development, you know, or I should say the bug fixes and stuff like that, I really feel like all of this just undercuts all of those arguments so bad. Because if none of this stuff ever affected land value, which it totally did in the first game, I can't believe anything you say after that. Like, really, seriously, be honest. Just be honest. Say, well, you know, we didn't get a chance to debug all that because we actually didn't finish building it yet. Because, you know, we don't want to make anybody give anybody the impression that we did have a half-finished game when we didn't launch with assets and mods and map editor. Like, seriously, we're not stupid. Fixed crash to desktop when building with direct connection to pedestrian path levels up. Oh. Fixed crash to desktop soon after building a save if the save was created shortly after the previous load new game. Fixed crash to desktop when running the simulation after placing features with add object menu. Fixed crash to desktop when hovering over the missing tree. Entire UI disappears permanently after clicking on line details of CO vehicles when CS1 bonus is not available. CS1 bonus? I don't know what that is. Fixed crash to desktop occurring after performing certain actions, then relocating the building. Fixed cargo vehicles, sometimes spawning in the middle of the cargo building. Excuse me. Fixed cargo vehicles very rarely use more than the first two loading bays and cargo terminals. Fixed buffer stops appearing on train outside connections. Fixed service vehicles sometimes despawn after completing tasks. Potentially affects fire engines, police cars, maintenance vehicles, ambulances, hearses, and taxis. Yeah, okay, that's good. Fixed vehicles stopping, slowing down at the wrong location when multiple vehicles are queuing to turn from a road into a building lot. Fixed first-person camera height on Tampere and San Francisco maps. Height restriction now has a minimum of 480/96 on maps with lower height scale. Fixed pause menu, same save game notification having a visible string ID after save is complete. Fixed dead tree leaf colors to be brown. Probably so it doesn't look like fall. Fixed line color modifications only updating for one part of multi-part vehicles until hovered with a mouse. Fixed garbage trucks, road maintenance. Oh, there's a lot of fixes in this. Using bus stop bays for driving through. Okay, fixed flickering collision icon when placing moving transport stop at the border between continuous road segments. Added achievement. Boy, there's a lot of these. Added achievement disable warning to the load game detail panel. Disable warning to the... Okay. Improved achievement warning banner text in the load game panel when limited money unlock. Oh. Fix several floating trees and props on buildings. That's nice. Fixed UI breaking if there's a chirp with missing brand prefab. Fixed endless siren for the early disaster warning system. Fixed notification staying in the original place after relocating a building. Oh, man. Fixed water sewage capacity notifications not working. See, this is the kind of stuff that they should be fixing after launch, in the weeks following launch, and getting that fixed. This shouldn't have taken them 5 months to do this. Fix the tornado event is appearing properly after being dismissed, blocking the game from starting another tornado. Oh no! Fixed piles on building locks certain types of warehouses called power plant, recycling center, displaying the wrong resource type and amount currently stored. Fixed issues with some... See, that's... This here... Deep simulation, folks. If they can't even get the resources moving around, then the economy is broken. Fixed issues with some states getting stuck with almost all tools if mouse press and release happen during the same frame. Fixed intersection node icon to be the correct one. Fixed an issue where it was possible to delete keyframes in 2 curve editors at the same time. Now when clicking outside of an editor, it will defocus keyframes in that editor. Fixed pause button not working in cinematic camera. Fixed several issues with using a controller. Fixed changing either menu music volume or radio volume after going back to the main menu causes the radio music to play. Improve cinematic camera smoothing control. Okay, so they did a few things that actually help to make the economy a little bit better, maybe work the way it's supposed to, but still there's a lot of stuff that I don't think really got solved. At least not the way I would want. Ugh, I just want to turn the weather off. It's so distracting. Like, it's nice to have this realism, but can we maybe just not have it all the time? I don't want it to rain constantly. I live in northern Ohio. I don't need to see more rain in my escapism. Okay, so let's check up on that chat again here. Gotta drive home. Say care, Tygon. Thanks for stopping by. Jordan Hale. The assumption that everyone rents in this game irks me. Yes, me too. Because somebody's got to be paying rent to someone. Who owns it? Is it all owned by the city? Isn't that kind of like public property then? If you're always renting off the city? And if that's the case, then where does rent show up in here? Because I don't think it really does. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, I agree.
Hey, drive
but deep simulation, right, guys?
Oh, poor road conditions.
I don't want to hear you. I wish there was a way to turn that off. I don't want the people talking. I get really tired of hearing them. Baba Tova, welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh yeah, and remember to like the stream. We've got 35 people on here, 41 likes. Hey, that's pretty good. So if you haven't liked it yet, give it another like. I would really appreciate it for the algorithm's sake. Liddy says they still have the bug in the game when you place anything across the road from a hospital that has a helipad. It makes the ground spike up and ruins the look of stuff like parking lots. Jordan Hale, I don't think I would have been as hard on the game if they hadn't hyped it up so much as they did. See, that's the thing. If any of you played, by the way, João Busco says, cheers from Brazil. I see cheers from Cleveland and Ohio. What I was going to say, though, is they did hype it. You know, like, if you're playing any early access game and you run across a bug, you're like, ah, man, that's so frustrating that it crashes. But, hey, it's an alpha or a beta. Of course it's going to crash. This was never marketed as early access. It was never marketed as a beta, although they are starting to market things as betas, things that they said were going to be included in the base game, like, oh, I don't know, mods, for example, and assets, which we still don't even have in the base game. So, yeah, I'm going to be really super hard on them because they marketed this at a high price point and marketed it as a finished game, except it doesn't look good. I mean, seriously, do the graphics look as good in this as they should? I don't think so. I think they look terrible. There's no... like, I don't understand what they were trying to accomplish. Like, they didn't do it. They didn't do a good job. It's just garbage. You know, and then the other thing, too, is there should be some... I don't know if the word is occlusion. I'm not sure. But I shouldn't be able to see Broad Lane in that building, you know, in 32nd Street. That shouldn't be showing up. You know, it should be blocked by the building so that I don't see it. But it's just little dumb stuff like that. That's what they should have been working on the last 5 months. Dumb stuff. Like, oh, oops, we missed that kind of stuff. Not, oh, man, hopefully we can build this in time for the next DLC, which is supposed to be out in March. Oh, yeah, we got to hurry up and put that together because we never finished building that part of the game. You know, like the land value part. It's crazy. This is not a complete game. It's still not a complete game. Otherwise, you wouldn't have mods and maps being beta. Yeah. So, yeah. Anger. There it is. Another, 5 stages of grief. Liddy says, this should be officially launched in early access. Totally agree. Gaming Ages, the marketing department was on their job. Yes, but the people running the company were not. And so you can market all you want. And if you do a really good marketing job and you don't do a good job at delivering the thing you're marketing, the good marketing will sabotage you so bad. You don't want to ever overplay your hand. And that's it's exactly what they did. Gaming Ages, I've heard people say they would have been hard on the product even in early access. I don't think that's actually true. I think, yes, some people would have because they don't understand, but most people get that if it says early access, that's the developer saying, hey, we've done a lot of work on this game. We think it's good enough to play, but not good enough to say we're done with it. And we still want to share it with the community and get your feedback and let you enjoy the fruits of our work so far. If they had said that, I would have said, whoa, $90? That's too much. I'm not spending that kind of money. But maybe I would have given them 50. Maybe I wouldn't have. I don't know. You know, and I'm talking about, you know, if I wasn't a YouTuber. If I was, you know, I'm going to try to help you guys out because most of my channel is, it's pretty much all City Skylines. So I'm not going to, I feel like I need to do this for the sake of my audience. Have, you know, a look at this game and be able to report on it. But what I'm seeing is just terrible disconnect between the marketing and the product and the leadership and the product, and you know, like, it just, so many things just don't make any sense. I think if they had delayed and said, if they had come out before they started running their hype campaign, if they had come out and said, hey, you know what, we said we were going to launch in October, we're going to push that back to, we got to push that back a year. We're just not going to be able to do this. We thought we were going to have this ready, but we just don't, it's just not up to standards. This is not where we want it to be, which is something Marina has said. The thing is she took our money before she said that. That's not how you do business, unless you want to be hated by your customers. And so they're getting the hate that they deserve. They really are. And I'd love to see them turn it around, but I'm just dubious. Yes, the CEO has been a complete PR disaster. I don't know if I've seen a whole lot from Paradox, but I have from Colossal Order, and I think Paradox is stupid if they are letting Marina be the face of the game. She should not be the face of the game. Actually, nobody at Colossal Order should be the face of the game. It is silly that they had put all those Colossal Order employees out in front and center outside of Marina. I get that some of them are already public facing and everything, but you can't throw them out there to be cannon fodder, because that's exactly what they're doing to them right now. I'm sure this week or next week, whenever they do their next live stream, they're not going to have a lot of happy people on that live stream, because what have they really accomplished? Oh, okay. So, Jordan, if you happen to have a link to anything about what Paradox had to say, I'd love to read it. If you pop that in the chat, or get it to me some other way, like on Discord. Discord would be good if you're not on Discord. By the way, if you're not on Discord, check the description. There's a link in there to get on the Discord server. We do have some interesting conversations in there. There are some very heavy-duty people who are really into these games. Some of them are software people too, so they have a little additional insight on what is going on with these games behind the scenes. So I find it very useful, and it's a very interesting discussion. Although if you're a huge fanboy of the game, or fangirl for that matter, yeah, you might not want to come hang out too much in there, because you're probably not going to like all the sarcasm that is put in there. Nate. Colonel Ocioso. Arriving late to the party, yes, but not too late. You're still here. Please have some punch. Maybe even beer. We've probably got plenty here. Anyway, so I'm just thinking that if they had delayed this game a year, I think they at least needed another year. I don't see this game being put together the way it needs to be in 6 months. I don't. Not at the pace they're going. I don't know if it'll ever be where it needs to be. And this, give me a second here. I gotta find this. But there is there's a thing I gotta find here for you, because I feel like this post needs to be added to a video here. But I gotta find it here. Oh, come on. Where is it? Is this it? Nope, that's not it either. Ah, here it is. Okay, so you guys got to read this. This is from 2014. Well, actually, I shouldn't have told you that. I should have kept it a secret. I want to put this in a video though. So, well, it looks like we won't get even the last update I thought we'll get. It makes me really sad because all the time I was apologizing your bugs in the game when any of my friends asked, but when I was still saying that you will surely fix the rear of custom retro trains, fix the pathfinding so the traffic jams won't occur, fixing capacities because 12-meter bus having a capacity of same capacity as 20 meters is just dumb, and so on. My friends started to think I'm paid by you, but all we got was vehicles DLC. Sure, I've bought them all, but because I thought it will support and motivate you to make patches for us, but it didn't happen. Despite the facts, none of the main bugs was fixed. I still have 960. I'm guessing this is not a native English speaker. I'm just guessing. I still have 961 hours played at my Steam account. Does anybody here have more? But why? Because I had to replace your mistakes by my own, rewrite capacities by myself with vehicle editor by IME. Name every single vehicle to recognize the type of vehicle. Name every single stop manually. And thanks to IceUS bundle patches and Sim2 Patch Plus. Now, so what is he saying? He's saying, well, I had to fix all your problems with mods because the modders were the only ones who took care of this. I've always thought of you are the developer who likes to get input from the community. That's awesome, but could you please add new features to the current game and not in the next game as you always did? Cities in Motion 1 was great, but all vehicles stacked upon themselves after a while, which made the game kind of unplayable. You didn't actually fix anything there. The Cities in Motion 1 trolley buses were a joke. How is that possible that the Russian community could make a million times better overhead wires? And how did you fix that? You've released a brand new game. Cities in Motion 2 was awesome in some ways too, but the thing you've released when the game got out was just beta. Doesn't this sound familiar? And I still feel like playing a beta of Cities in Motion 2 and no CIM 2 1.0 will be ever coming because you've decided to make Cities Skylines. Hey, it's your choice, but I'm expecting you to make a DLC called Cities in Motion, where we'll get more transport options. I know you will say Paradox is making you do this. Does that sound familiar? Why didn't you go to Kickstart Cities Skylines to be free? A lot of people will fund you if you make the game good. I am your fan since the open beta of Cities in Motion 1. I participated in the Cities in Motion 2 alpha and beta. I've made a lot of my friends buy your games, but I will not buy Cities Skylines. Not because I don't like the city building genre. It's because I finally see how you make your games, and I guess that Cities Skylines will have the same life cycle as both Cities in Motions. Go away of all the times.
Industry.
Nope. Okay. Let's go back to that. I hope you guys... No, not Paradox, Babatova. Babatova says, so basically Paradox sucks. No, this is not Paradox. This is Colossal Order. There were 2 games that Colossal Order made that I'm aware of before Cities Skylines 1. Cities in Motion 1, and they made a sequel, Cities in Motion 2. Guess what? There are so many bugs in Cities in Motion 2 that were never, ever, ever fixed. This was written in 2014. Cities Skylines released in 2015. So this has been not too long before Cities Skylines came out, the original. But if you look at this, almost all of the complaints that are raised here about how they're not going to buy, why they're not going to buy Cities Skylines, is because they got ripped off on Cities in Motion 2. Like, this person was in both the alpha and the beta. They got their friends to buy the games. They supported Colossal Order because they believed in them. So here's my thing. When more DLCs come along, they're going to say, hey, we need your support. We really appreciate your support because we're still working out some kinks in this game. We appreciate you being here this whole time. Boy, you know, it's really been great, but we still got a ways to go. So just hang in there, buy this DLC, and it should take care of some of the problems. And we'll take care of more problems in the future. The thing is they never fixed their first sequel. They never fixed it. Cities in Motion 1 came out. People were like, hey, yeah, this is good. Then they released Cities in Motion 2. never, ever made it all work. There were a lot of things that didn't work in it that worked in the original, from what I understand. I've talked to some other people about this. And what have they done with City Skylines and City Skylines 2? Well, City Skylines, big hit, massive hit, super successful. I mean, City Skylines 2, by all rights, is not made by an indie developer or an indie publisher. These guys, Paradox is publicly traded now. They've made some money. They have the money to make AAA titles, or awfully close to it. And then they play the whole, well, we're small. We just need your help to come up with a game that you want to make. So what I wonder is, maybe did they bite off more than they could chew with Cities in Motion 2? Maybe make some design mistakes in the bottom of that game, and then just decide, you know what, why don't we just move on to the next thing, and just pretend like everything is fine? Which is exactly what they're doing. It's the same playbook as they're using for Cities Skylines 2. When somebody pointed this out, I saw this on one of the Paradox forums, go away. When somebody put this out on the Paradox forum, under one of the Word of the Week a few weeks ago, I saw this and I was just floored. I was floored. I just can't believe any of this. You're not the only one to feel this way. Trust me. Me too. Me too as well. Me too. Me 3. I don't know. I think that would be like 5, actually. Exactly. I'm feeling the same. +1. Me too. I feel the same way, OP. I love transport games and everything about well-made ones. The strategy, the satisfaction of seeing your plans turn out and how they work and function. What's the point if this game doesn't even work properly to get you to that satisfaction? You end up with an unfulfilling, lazy cash cow with DLC that probably took a day to make, being sold for silly money. They don't bother fixing bugs because once you've bought the game, you've fallen for their trap, and it doesn't matter at that point. I would be happy even if the game were moddable. Modders would do a far better job than the devs of the game. Frowny face. I would even pay for good mods, not the superficial DLC we get as crumbs thrown at us. Sound familiar? Edit, I know it seems I'm being a bit itchy, but they don't listen to their supposed target audience or play their own game, it seems. I wish we could choose to allow vehicles to fully load at a stop before moving, or control speed limit areas of train tracks and have signals. Everything in this game felt close to being good, but like it was rushed, and the cost of the game, and that cost the game a lot of quality and depth, which just isn't there. I feel the same. It's really sad to see a lot of people once really excited about the game now feeling let down and betrayed. I know you will not comment on this because you only comment on positive stuff. I will never buy anything produced by Paradox or developed by CO. I will give Marina a little credit. At least she's commenting on negative stuff. Some of those words of the week must have really gotten to her, and she actually did reply. I'm not exactly thrilled with her replies on some of those things because I still feel like she's not getting it. But at least she addressed it publicly. So that's at least a step in the right direction. Which, hopefully she has gotten better in the last 10 years. When I first heard that about Cities in Motion, I fell in love. Then Cities in Motion 2 was being heralded, and for the first time ever, I pre-purchased a game. I can feel you there. There was a small handful of things players complained about consistently and loudly. One of the biggest complaints was pathfinding. Oh, not again. Instead of saying we are sorry but there is nothing we can do, or better, we are working to change it, they swore up and down that it was working according to specs. Personally, to me, the reason to play the game was creating schedules, something CO touted the game would be about, contend with day-night cycles, dynamic cities, and more, organized timetables to bring order out of chaos. Yet they later said The Sims did not even bother to read the schedules and instead used average wait time. Well, between a lack of schedules and a crappy pathfinding system, what was the point of the game? And that's the similar sentiment. What is the point of City Skylines 2? The money is too easy, the traffic is too easy, or it doesn't make any sense, and nothing else really makes sense. Well, finally, it looks like you can cry. We have your money, so nothing else matters. Could you say us about current progress or something? Show people some kind of understanding. +1 is sorry not buying the next game. And as a further slap in the face, they have just released the CIM 2 soundtrack on Steam for $4.99. Yeah, it's funny how, like, after 20 years, Transport Tycoon is still the best transport sim with the most depth out there. It's not just about watching buses and trains move, it's about making a network. I would have paid more for the CD so I could listen to it in my car and at parties. Oh, that's an old post right there. I felt betrayed too when I first got the game. I was troubled by all the bugs and believed that the devs would have fixed all the problems, so I supported them. But now I know that they weren't really interested anymore since they spent their time working on City Skylines, and then what really pissed me off is their lack of support for the Sim 2 by just dropping it over the summer. Surprise, surprise, folks. At least give us what we have been asking for before moving on. Just for a heads up, I will no longer purchase any of the future titles. You guys better warn the Skyline players the kind of company they are buying from. By the way, where is that last update they mentioned back in August? Is there any news about that, or has it been dropped as well? This is November, by the way, of 2014. I mean, this is almost like prophetic. When you look at this, it's crazy. Yeah, okay, I get the idea. Mingzi says can we move on, bud? We can read this on our own too. So yeah, look at this. This is all very prophetic. I've got to put this in a video here. I'm sure there's a lot of other gold in there. But this is almost like reading about City Skylines 2, except this is Cities in Motion 2, which came out 10 years ago. 10 years ago, at least. And it's the same thing all over again. I don't know how this happens. I would love to talk to somebody who really is... he really was up on those. I never touched Cities in Motion 1 or 2, so I can't really compare it to that. I know City Skylines worked out really well. They did great at building a game from the ground up then. I don't know what happened. Oh, okay, so Babatova, you said you don't know the difference between Colossal Order and Paradox. Okay, so when you talk about the developer, these are the people who actually code the game and create... They basically make the actual game itself. Typically, they don't really do the marketing for it. They just make the game because, coders are geeky, and, coding teams and developer houses, those are like the geeky type people. They're great at nuts and bolts type stuff. They can be great at marketing, but they're probably not. They're probably much better at just making tech work the way it's supposed to, the way they want it to, and designing the game and designing the graphics and all this other stuff and bringing together a beautiful game that we love to play, like they did with City Skylines 1 or SimCity 4 or something like that, or any other game. That's the developers. They create the actual game. Then there's the publisher, and this is a whole separate company. And the publisher's whole thing is they market the game. So, the same thing happens in the movie industry. You might have like Steven Spielberg might go out there with Amblin Entertainment, his production company, and they will produce a film or a TV series. And then they use a studio like Paramount or Universal or something like that. And the studio will market that to the public. They will pay for making posters. They will pay for, publicity events, things like that. Remember how they put all those people on the crane and did that really silly publicity stunt for City Skylines 2? Well, that was Paradox put that on. They were the ones putting the money into this. Now, just like in Hollywood, a production company can go off and make something on their own and then sell it, basically sell the marketing rights to somebody or the distribution rights to a studio, which is exactly how they produced Star Wars, the original Star Wars movies. George Lucas had made some money on some other movies he had made, and he banked that. And so he took that and plowed it into Star Wars. He started to run out of money at the end of making the first Star Wars movie, and I think he had to make some kind of deal with the studio to make that happen. But either way, he made that movie with his own money. So he had creative control over it. When 20th Century Fox says, I think Luke Skywalker shouldn't be played by Mark Hamill, we need a more experienced actor, George Lucas could say, yeah, who cares what you think? This is my movie. I'm funding it. You just market it, okay? Like they're not going to tell him anything because You know, they're just there to market the movie. But then most of the time what ends up happening is the studio has all this money, and you got a director, and he's like, hey, I got this great idea. And he pitches it to an executive at the studio, and the studio says, I love it. I'm going to hire your company and give you a $100 million budget because, you know, you've made movies in the past and they came out really well. And I got to... Okay. So, you know, they made all this, they've got all this money. They're going to give them, you say, hey, you've made a good movie before, you know, we're going to do that again. And we're going to give you a huge budget because that's what you say you need, and you can make a movie for $100 million. We're going to make $1 billion off of this thing. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. So like the developer can, like a good example of a developer that I think did all of this on their own until recently would be Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. They're made by 3 Division. So 3 Division is the developer. They created the game, and for the longest time they were the only ones with their fingerprints on the game. Well, a few months ago, they made a deal with a publisher. Now, they have spent probably all of their own money building the game. So the developer owns that game 100%. They can tell the publisher to pound salt if they have to. They have leverage over the publisher because they built and they own the game. They just have a marketing deal with the publisher. The publisher gets a piece of the pie when it sells. So anyway, to Colossal Order, what happened is with City Skylines 1, I know for sure they went to Colossal Order and said, hey, we want to make a city builder game. You know, Cities in Motion is really, really great. People love it. Paradox is like, yeah, this is a great game. Paradox has all this money. I mean, I think they went public not too long before City Skylines released. I'm not sure if it was before they greenlit it, but basically, you know, they would pitch it to a Paradox executive, maybe a team of executives, and Paradox has got their investors and stuff like that. People will give them money to go out and make games, you know, pay developers like Colossal Order to make a game, and then they'll get some return on that investment. So Colossal Order made the game, but they don't particularly own the game per se. There's a lot of control because Paradox actually funded its creation. Now, what I don't understand, and maybe they got a raw deal from Paradox in the beginning, I don't know. Maybe they just don't manage money well. Maybe they ran out of money and they had to make a different deal. I don't know what the story is, but back in 2013, they had been pitching Colossal Order had been pitching Paradox. We want to make a city builder. And Paradox said to Colossal Order, well, no, we don't want to do that right now. We're just going to go we're just going to get destroyed by Electronic Arts because they've got SimCity that just came out, or it's just about to come out. We don't want to fund anything until, you know, with that, because we're not going to be able to compete with them. And they're right. They were small at the time. There's no way they could. So they end up totally falling flat on their face. You know, Electronic Arts totally messes up what they had done with SimCity in 2013. And then Colossal Order says, how about now to Paradox? And Paradox is like, all right, go make us a city builder. Make us a city builder right now. And we'll get that out there as soon as we can before the door closes and they make a sequel or somebody else comes up with something. So they had 2 full years and they put together, I mean, honestly, you can kind of tell with City Skylines, they threw it together. But they knew what they were doing, they knew what they wanted to achieve, and they did it. I think they must have done a pretty good job because I don't think people would have given them the time of day if the game hadn't been awesome. I would love to go back and find out if any of those people were complaining about Cities in Motion 2 and how they weren't going to buy City Skylines, if they indeed did actually finally go out and buy City Skylines because, well, you know, this game is awesome. Yeah, I'll buy it. It's on sale. It wouldn't surprise me if some of them did, because if you bring a product that's better than everything else out there that you really want to play, you're going to put your money down for it, even if you've got the hate on for who's making it. That's just the way it is. So what ends up happening is you'd think that Colossal Order would have banked money so that they would have creative control over City Skylines 2 to be able to tell Paradox, hey, we're going to launch in October 2023. And Paradox is like, great, we'll get our marketing guys on it. You know, send us this stuff and, you know, we'll make some marketing materials and we'll start hyping it. And we'll make an announcement, all this other fun stuff. And then as the release date would approach, maybe a couple months out from release, Klaus Orr would be like, yeah, this beta's not going so hot. We need another year at least. And then they'd be able to tell Paradox, hey, we need another year. And Paradox would be like, we already started marketing this. It's like, yeah, we needed to hold off. It's like, well, okay, all right, fine, we'll do that. But they don't have any leverage because Paradox funded City Skylines 2. And that's the thing is they pitched, because Marina talks about pitching City Skylines 2 to Paradox. And it didn't sound like they had a very, very firm idea of what they were trying to do, because the pitch was City Skylines 1 except better. That's not a good pitch. Like, what specific things did they seek to improve? And if you look at it, it looks like everything. The thing is was that a good idea? I don't think it was, because they worked for 5 years. They were supposed to have it done in 2 years. So that means in 2013, they should have had that game done. They should have had 2023, they would have had that released in 2018, before COVID. Could you imagine how much money they would have made if they had City Skylines 2 before COVID? Or even during? That would have been unbelievable amounts of money they would have made. So what happens is Paradox greenlit this game. Okay, no, I'm off on that. That would have come out. So 2018, that was when they started development on it. 2018 was when they started development. It would have come out in 2020, probably, if they'd been on time. 2021, if it was late. Either way, they still stood to make a whole lot of money off of it, especially releasing it any time close to the pandemic. So they did not release anywhere near on time. They took 3 years longer than the original 2-tier timetable. And if you look into some of the design decisions that they made, some people have picked apart the code, because you can decompile, reverse engineer a bunch of things in order to make mods. Yes, Mingzi, you were right. No developer really finishes what they intend. That is true. But the thing is you don't take 2.5 times longer. You don't take 150% more time than you already had. Is that right? Am I doing the math right? Yeah, they took another 150% more time than they had. They always fall short when the community does the work. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I won't disagree with you there, but the point is that they released this game and it was not even close to game time. It's not ready for prime time at all. This should have been a big money title. I honestly feel like maybe they should have made their own engine, or at least beefed up what they had of Unity to work with, if that's even a thing you can do with the licensing. I don't know how Unity, I don't know enough about all that. But the thing that bothers me is that you've got all these other games, and they're in betas, they're alphas, they're early access, and they're all more stable than City Skylines 2 with a fraction of the budget. A lot of them use their own engine, at least from what I can tell. Like Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, I remember reading, I'm pretty sure they made their own engine for that. I'm not saying it's as good as what, they've built City Skylines on, because there's obviously some shortcomings with that engine, but that game is fun to play once you get your head wrapped around it. It's not a bad game. It's a good game. I have been hopelessly addicted to it many, many times, and they've added some features and functionality. Some of them are like, like the water system I'm not really thrilled with. But, some of the trash stuff they added, I don't know, that adds quite a lot to the game. That's not simple stuff. But it is challenging, but it's not annoying at the same time. So what I kind of wonder is if they made some foundational mistakes. In programming, you can have all of the ideas that you've got all thrown together. Here's what I want this software to do. So I did this in business applications. And in business applications, you're usually building a database. That's the first thing you build. And then you build all the software that, gets into the database and affects the data. And a lot of these games, in a lot of cases, are databases because, where do you think... Whoops, that's not what I want. Where do you think all this comes? That's data. That's, you know, more data. It's all data. You know, I sound like data is beautiful on April Fool's Day on Reddit, you know. So anyway, when you build the database, if you've got something in the database that is that you need to change, and you've got most of the software already built, if you have to change a critical piece of the database, even if you just have to change a field type, it was a text field, well, now you need to make it numerical or vice versa. Well, now you have to recode everything that touches that field. You have to recode all of it. You have to refactor some things because some of it just flat out will not work the way it did before. So if you make a foundational mistake and you change your mind later, then the foundational mistake I think they made was going with a version of Unity that was not really ready to do what they needed it to do. Because Unity is not perfect for City Skylines. They had to shoehorn in some other text to make all this stuff work, and I don't think that has worked out well. And I think that is affirmed by the fact that they still don't have an asset editor, and that they still had trouble making a map editor too. So, you know, I'd love to, you know, hear whether I'm right or wrong on this thing, but, you know, yeah, I think that's a problem. So let me look at some of the stuff that you guys have sent in the chat. I hope some of that made sense to some of you, especially if you're kind of into software development. I hope that helps explain the difference between Paradox and Colossal Order. You know, Paradox being the publisher, Colossal Order being the developer. It's very much like the movie business. If you're familiar with how the movie business works and behind the scenes, how that works, it's very similar business model. Okay, so Cities in Motion 3. Oh, Mayank Anand. Hey, hi, how you doing? Okay, so the elf says Cities in Motion 3 will be a mature release in 2026 Q1. They don't have to fix CS2. Yeah, I don't know about that. Babatova, I understand making a new game after 8 years because sometimes building something from scratch is much easier than trying to fix something that's too broken. They had that chance. Yes, and they honestly started 5 years ago. They didn't start 2 years ago. They started 5 years ago from when they launched in 2013. So that means they started back in 2018. We should have already had a mature City Skylines 2 by now in the community, but they ran into so many technical problems, and that's something that Marina has said herself in a video that they released back in December,
A driving advisory has been issued for the
that they had
immediate
technical
area
problems.
to
That was their
Fort
biggest
Road
issue. Okay, maybe it's getting the idea that I don't want to listen to those guys. Okay, so, and everyone supported them and wanted that, but they totally blew it. It kind of reminded me of YouTube Rewind 2018 when the whole shtick was trying to make up for the previous one by listening to the community and to what they wanted, but just made something so much worse. There are so many people who tried CS2, but after a little ran back to modded CS1. Yes. I don't remember YouTube Rewind, but this is about the same time frame. It's close. Babatova, I didn't buy the game, but I had some spare time and tried it with the Xbox Game Pass on the PC, and I couldn't play it seriously. The elf says, can we move on to some better games? Would you suggest some? That's a good question. Oh, it's Mingle? Okay. Sundiata Smith. Hi all, I've watched so many streamers play CS2, and each time I think to myself I will never buy CS2. It looks convoluted at best, and lack of mod support is disappointing. You know what? Yeah, we'll put that to the test in a second. Let me catch up on the chat here. But I'm going to go find a mod or two and see what it affects. Like I might try that population rebalance mod and see what it does. And we'll see how the modding integrates. You know what? I'll just do that right now. Save the game. Where are we at? We're at 30,000 now. Oh. $30K. Save. And then Paradox mods. let's go with code mods. Let's put in this the most popular, huh? Line tool. All right, we'll add this one. It requires another mod. All right, so let's see here. Add wall-to-wall mode. Okay, so that's got a change log in there. That's great. Like the interface is very familiar. It's very similar to the way Steam did things. Although it does have a little, I think this is better than I think Steam. You know, like I honestly really agree with the idea of going with Paradox mods. I do not see where it tells what the dependencies are, though. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I need unified icon. That's a little kind of weird. Okay, so now it's going to install that. I'm going to add that one, and it's not going to complain. That's good. So we got the line tool. I don't know what the better bulldozer does. I'm not going to move it in here right now. No death care. City services rebalance. I have to investigate that a little bit more. Let's see what we get with, where is the population rebalancer? Signature fix. Did I miss it? Population rebalance. Better sim. Okay. Oh, look, it fixes the high school problem, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Tweak Sim's lifecycle for more balanced population and education needs. Graduation logic. Okay, so less elementary schools, more high schools and colleges, heavily reduced number of Sims leaving the city, number of Sims coming to the city will depend on radio. Okay, so that's another thing I don't know. I must be having people leave. Well, I would imagine they would be leaving because they don't have jobs. I don't have enough employment, or at least I didn't when I first loaded this city up. Number of Sims incoming to the city will depend on ratio of free properties. There will always be free residential properties for new adults, less births, much more deaths. Okay. All right. Well, let's try this one. And it doesn't look like it needs any dependencies. Oh, and it's got a Discord link. Okay, so this is, I don't know. I actually think this is a huge improvement. I think they did a good job with this, from what I can see so far. I'm digging it right here. So, and then we've got play sets. We can create play sets. I imagine that's probably a lot like collections. Back to browse. I thought I had. Playsets. Okay, all right, I see. All right, cool. That's good. We can change the load order here. That's slick. I dig that. That's, so this is definitely an improvement over all of this here. All right, so that's good. Now I don't know if I need to reload the game. Let's do load game. All right, so it says that achievements are disabled, so that's a good thing. It means the mods are loaded, or at least the flag is set that makes it so the achievements don't work when you do load mods. Let's do that, and let's see how this line tool thing works here. Parks and Rec, is that is not what I want. What happened to the rest of my user interface? Hello. Uh-oh. I would say there's a bug, because now I have no UI. That's not good. I don't even see my... What happened to the user interface? Well, this could be because I... Alt F4 will fix that. This could be because I loaded it while the game was already loaded. Maybe Unity, the new version of Unity doesn't like that any more than the old one that City Skylines 1 was built on. Yep. Oh yeah, so new waterfront zone, new iconic fences. Oh, around the yards, just around the yards. Now you can't use the fences. Things bring an atmosphere of the Florida coastline to your cities and new. I don't know. I've been to Florida and I'm not really sure about that. New residential signature buildings, don't care, and then palm trees. Yeah, this is not a $10 DLC. Sorry. All right, let's load that game up. And then hopefully it will be more stable this time. Let me check up on this here. Run this thing, get it moving here. What was I going to try? Oh, that's right. I was going to try to place trees. Do some spruces. We'll put them along the road here. And line mode, that makes sense. Voila, yeah. That is a totally, just making an advanced thing. That makes perfect sense, that mod. Yeah. I really feel like they need to put that in the game, the base game. That has to go in it. What happened? I must have clicked on another window and it decided to steal the focus. All right, let me catch up on the chat here a little bit more. And we will... Oh, yeah, you know what? I gotta check the education here because that's probably gonna be off. Okay, so I have way more... No, nothing's changed there yet. All right, so maybe I have to wait for this to go through here then. Population. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully this will help and not conflict too much. Let's see here. See here. So Babatova says that gets it okay. All right. Gaming ages. I like what they were trying to do in CS2, but I don't think they had a clue how much it would take to make it all happen. I think that you are right on that. I would agree that is pretty much my assessment as well. I think they tried to make too many changes all at once instead of being more incremental about it. And I think the engine is what really messed them up. The game engine, which would be a fundamental mistake, a design mistake at the fundamental level. Like you got to have the right foundation or you can't build up. Do you think Colossal Order is holding Paradox back? I think that... Okay, so thanks. I'll look for that, Jordan, for the Paradox tweet. I would say that Colossal Order is holding Paradox back. No, Paradox is holding Colossal Order back from talking about when things are going to be ready. One of the things that they really don't want Colossal Order talking about is release timelines. They have made it very clear that they're not supposed to talk about that. I'm sure that's contractual. And I'm sure it's because whenever they have talked about it, then they have not been able to deliver on their promises. And Paradox is trying to manage the PR somehow. But I don't feel like either company is doing a very good job at managing the PR in this whole thing. Let's see if we can get any intelligence here. So, all right, so small homes, people didn't like that. They didn't like unreliable internet service or high noise pollution. But they had walking distance to elementary schools. But it's see, I don't understand why this would get abandoned then. So I guess this does give me some intelligence, but I don't really feel like it gives me what really broke them staying. And since that's a tower, I find it really hard to believe that they would just, you know, up and leave. I also have no idea what the level was on that tower before they left. So it's just weird. And for a tower to become abandoned and then nobody moves into it. I've never seen anybody move into a tower. I've also never watched, so it's not for a long enough maybe. I think I watched once or twice, but not in a while. This is a much prettier part of town. I like the row houses. See, some of the stuff I actually really do like the art decisions that they made. I think row houses are something that should naturally come out of things. I think I would have gotten rid of the zoning grid though. I don't know. That's just, you know, that's a whole other thing. I'm disappointed that the zoning grid is basically the same. But when they're changing so many other things, would I add that to their list? I don't know. I don't think I would. So yeah, I think Paradox is holding Colossal Order back from saying certain things, but I don't think that anybody's really being held back from much. I feel like Paradox might be forcing Colossal Order's hand a little bit, but I feel like they might also be kind of... I don't feel like that's entirely Paradox's fault. I think... Okay, so now it's collapsed, so now that will probably get redeveloped. Oh, and there's dead people in there. That makes sense. I don't know. I don't understand. I mean, for all I know, the reason why that building got abandoned was because there was too many dead people and they didn't get picked up by the hearse in time. I might not have enough death care. I don't really know. My cemetery could be full. I don't know what's going on. So anyway. But yeah, as far as that whole tug-of-war thing goes, I don't really know what's going on there, but I do think that Colossal Order is trying to manage the expectations better than Colossal Order is, and Colossal Order, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they know. Only 2 years to make City Skylines 1. Yes, that is true. See your gaming ages. Okay, so code game. Honestly, some of the best City Skylines 1 content was released in the last 24 months before City Skylines 2. I think that's probably about accurate. It wouldn't surprise me. Gaming ages, I think they switched Unity engines between that time. Yeah, well, I'm not exactly sure what they did. I know that they had to change Unity engines for City Skylines 2. So I don't have enough hearses. Alright, so people are dying really fast now. Which is weird because I hardly have any old people to die. I don't even remember what my death care is like here. No, here it is, death care. Where's my death care? Do I have a cemetery? I thought I did. It's right here. And there's plenty of room. Yeah, plenty of room. Do I have crematoriums or anything? No, that's recycling. Crematoriums, I do. Do I have any of them? It does not look like it. Let's add one over here. I'll put one over here somewhere as well. I'm not really keen on how big the service buildings are either. They're all huge. Like if you're trying to make a really compact urban area, it's challenging. Extra challenging. Okay. Alright. Hopefully that'll help catch up on the hearses. Zoom in on our row houses here. Like honestly, this doesn't look too bad. there's a little bit of diversity in there. There's enough that I'm not thinking, oh, that's all the same. Over here, that looks pretty monoculture, you know. Let's see here. Code game, I think City Skylines 2 will be great in time. Honestly, modders will save CS2. I don't know if you can save CS2 by modding alone. Maybe they can. I don't think that's fair to the modders if they have to save the game. And also, they're not going to sell anything to console. So Colossal Order is really under the gun here. Paradox has been funding them to come up with a console version. They're going to want a console version. But no one's going to buy it if they don't fix the PC version and make it clear that the PC version is worth, you know, is good. So all these console players are saying, oh, I want to play, I want to play, I want to play. No, you don't. Not until the game is good for PC. Trust me, you will not regret your purchase if you wait until the game is good. If you buy before you know the game is good on PC, I can guarantee you it won't be very good for you. You will be so frustrated with it. A lot of you. Maybe some of you will have a lot of fun. I don't know. I mean, this neighborhood looks nice, but, you know, I don't know. There's so many things that I just am not into. There's a lot of things I love. I mean, I love the way the road tools, you know, make, you know, wonky intersections like this look good. Yeah, I couldn't do those intersections in the old game. And even with mods, I couldn't make it look good. After SimCity, the challenge they were going through at that time, 2000 Deluxe SimCity was going well, and Paradox gave us this. Yeah, fallback and short falls were I would even... It's Mingle. Okay. I'll call you Mingle. The 5 is throwing me off. It looks like an S. The Elf. If asset modding will be hard due to optimization related stuff that can reduce the amount of assets and asset creators. I don't know if that's really what it is. It's not. It's hard to implement the editor in order to ingest an asset from 3D software. That's a little more technical than I am comfortable with discussing authoritatively at the moment, even at a high level. But from what I understand, it is complicated what they had to do to get assets to render in the first place because of what Unity was not able to accomplish on its own. One of the reasons why they used the new Unity version is because it was much better at multi-threading. And that is really, 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 really useful for a city builder, especially as processors have not gotten any faster over the last few years. They've just added lots and lots more cores. When you're adding more cores and the version of Unity that you're using really only wants to use 4 cores tops, then you're going to hit a hard limit really fast. And the complexity of an agent-based city builder is going to increase exponentially with the amount of population. It's going to be rough on your processor.
This is
Industry.
we're
Mingle, and today we stand soon after we have AI doing this for us. Eddie Gonzalez, when do you think console version will be released? At this point, never. I would at least give it another 6 months, maybe a year. Seriously, not kidding. The Elf. The time they spend with the asset modding support and existing optimization issues suggests we might have a huge problem. Yes. Mingle, but Unity was till date at that time handling polygons the best. But Unreal and others have definitely outreached. Oh, so you're 2 people. Mayank gives me 2. Lee, I'm an urban planner and landscape architect. It happens. I wish I knew the context in this. I'm sorry, I fell so far behind. They tried and got back because what worked and why change what works. Code game. I believe in the long-term viability and QOL of the game, just in a holding pattern for now. All right, so Code game, I just want to say this. If you've already put money into this game, especially if you bought the huge pre-order like I did for $90 or whatever, euros or pounds or whatever you spent the money in, Don't give them another dollar until they've come through. Don't let them fool you. Hold their feet to the fire with your money, because they may not come up with it. We've got to hold them. I know we can't do anything now, but let them fix this. The base game has to be good. You can't just leave it up to the modders. Although, if the game is well enough off with the mods, then okay, yeah, you can go with mods for your satisfaction. But I'm just saying, make sure you're satisfied. If you are unsatisfied, do not just jump in and give them more money thinking, oh, well, they're going to fix it eventually. Don't count on that. They might not. One of the things, so right now, one of the problems that they have is that they promised all this stuff with the Ultimate Edition. So they promised asset packs and DLCs. They promised certain game functionality. Once they have fulfilled that promise to the pre-orders to satisfy the lawyers enough that no judge is going to allow anybody to raise a class action suit to get everybody's money back, then you really have to hold them accountable with every dollar you spent. So right now we have a little bit of leverage in raising our voice. Once they have finished delivering that last DLC that they promised, then they have essentially, in the eyes of probably most judges, gotten themselves off the hook. And there's no way you're ever going to get your money back for them, not coming through. They can say, well, this still works, this still happens. They didn't make that many specific promises on everything. A lot of stuff that they've said is vague, and that's where you'll never be able to get any courts to say anything. And let's be honest, it's $90. Is that really that much money in the grand scheme of things? I hate that I put that much money into it, and I'm probably not going to be satisfied with this game anytime soon, and maybe ever, but it's not that big of a deal to me. I feel bad if it really is a big deal for you. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Anyway, not much I can say about that, but we lose our leverage if we keep handing them our money. So don't hand them more money unless you're satisfied with what you've had so far. If you're satisfied, then great, hand them your money. But don't expect better things to happen if you keep giving them money. That's just the way it works. Make them work for it. That's all I'm asking. Back to this chat. Gaming Ages, I know people love Steam modding, but Paradox Mods is better for the larger picture to me. I think that it's a smart move. I think it's very sensible, especially if they're trying to get console players to be able to mod, do assets and stuff like that. Which that all makes sense to me. When they said that, I'm like, yep, that makes sense. And besides that, you can do more to enhance Paradox mods. They can always tell Paradox, hey, we want to do this thing because, the assets are really out of control. We need to be able to make more tags. You need to do more curation. Can you add these features? Can you make it so we have these roles? So maybe we can have community curators or something like that. And then, Paradox can even have Colossal Order make it, to their, as long as they follow their style and all the other fun stuff. And that's mutually beneficial. It's a good system. It really is. So I have no complaints at all about them going to Paradox Mods. I'm glad they finally launched it, and it looks like it works okay. Like, I just used it, and it was pretty painless. I got no complaints so far. I'm just trying to see if the mods actually make any difference. I'm seeing more dying. I definitely haven't fixed land value, and rent, and all that is really messed up still. Let's look at another part of town here. Need some parks in some of these neighborhoods. And this is another thing. Why didn't they put park life into the original game? Like, that's hands down the best mod they ever made. The best DLC, that they ever made. I think. Well, After Dark is arguably really good too, because of the bicycles and stuff like that, which are obviously missing still. But I think they could do a really killer job with bicycles if they could get the base game working. So anyway, there's a lot you can do with that, especially if you look at the Netherlands. Hopefully they do. They're in Scandinavia. At least maybe if they look at Denmark, they'll be in a good spot there. I have an Xbox Game Pass version of this. Can I get the Paradox mods and that? You can get maps, probably. I don't know about code mods. I'm not really sure how that works. I would think so. I would think that Paradox mods should work with that, Mingle. Ocioso. Steam is just the conveniency of one click in exchange for all your privacy. Mingle. All right, sir, I need to head out now. Great chatting with you. Thanks for your insights. It's like 1 a.m. here. Well, thank you very much for coming by, Mingle. Take care. Have a good night. Gaming Ages. Paradox mods is one click also and seems to handle the dependencies better. I don't like the sorting options or rating system, though. I'll have to let you know what I think about that as I use it more, if I use it more. But it looks like it's at least up to what Steam did. Maybe a little better. Might just look a little prettier, a little neater. I don't know. It worked just fine. I have no complaints so far, and I think it's a good idea. Gaming Ages, you have to restart the game after code mods. Okay, that makes sense. Aiden Thomas. I wish they would just make it do that, but yeah, whatever. Adam Thomas, the game is so pretty, but the simulation is so opaque. It's so hard to keep track of how your actions are affecting the different systems. Yes, agree. And, you know, if they can get the economy working properly, then maybe we can have mods that give us more insight into the economy. But right now, I just can't make heads or tails of anything. I mean, obviously, they didn't have the economy finished because the land value is like a cornerstone to an economy. And what do you have that means anything with what meant anything with land value, you know, until this latest update? Like nothing. So, yeah, I don't really find that it was very valid to say, oh, we've got a deep simulation, and then they're like, oh yeah, we added land value, it makes it affect things now. It should have affected things before. Code game. Word of the week has been a net positive, but certain weeks have more value than others. I don't know. I think that honestly, if they don't have anything good to say that the community wants to hear, by and large, like, hey, we fixed these bugs. You know, let us know what you think. We think this works really well, or we overhauled this thing that wasn't working, and you know, tell us what you think. That would be good. But they didn't really have anything to share with us except for just more advertising fluff. Like, you don't market to people who are already mad at you. You've already got them mad because of your marketing. The last thing you want to do is make it worse, because it's just going to get more mad because you're not listening. You're not reacting to what you heard. Joshua Shell. Hi, sir. Hello, Joshua. The Elf. Where's Death Care? It is a CO game, so it has Death Don't Care instead. Okay. Tom Jacobs. Yeah, I don't understand why the cry for console stop this wish while PC players are not happy, content with the game. Looks like they also want to complain. Yeah. Oh, man. Every time I do that. Gaming Ages. So far, it looks like mods are active for GeForce now, even though I was told they weren't ready. I would think Xbox Game Pass has them too. I would hope so. I mean, maybe some of these platforms, it took a little while to get the, you know, go through the red tape that it takes to release them. I would think that they'd have that down, though. I don't know. Code game. I will say I've built a city over 300,000 already. Well, that's great. I'm glad you had the patience for that. Gaming Ages, I agree. Vote with your dollars. You don't like, you don't buy. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I was always happy to, at least at some point, buy all the DLCs, although I didn't buy the Financial Districts one because I didn't see the point in it. I'm like, I don't need that added to it. It didn't really appeal to me any. And this one's abandoned now. They're unhappy because the homes were small. How am I supposed to do anything about that? They're apartments. The game should adjust for that. And this is why I say the economy is probably still broken. So, yeah. And then what's this? Traffic accident. They wrecked in front of the police station. Well, someone's going to be in trouble. And it's the bus? The bus wrecked? That is a police station, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Well, what are you going to do? Okay. So I think that's all I have for today. What is my verdict? I don't think the mods are going to be enough, and the DLC, and none of the stuff that they've done is really enough to make me want to play this game still. Let's see if this mod made any difference for our education. It didn't help a lot. It has helped some though. Yeah, so elementary school demand has gone down, high school's gone up. Population. Okay, and the ratio for kids to teens is better. There's more old folks, and I think they die faster, and it's configurable, so let's go into the settings for that and see what that looks like. Options, population rebalance. Teen age limit in days. Okay, so I'd have to read into this. I'm sure there's more info on this. I did get the mod dependency, the ability to read. I did download that one, so I will have to look into that more before I say, well, I don't understand. And I'll probably read the comments to see if anything has been said. So if you guys are familiar with the City Skylines 1 modding on Steam, then you know what I'm talking about. So that's kind of cool. So that education bug.
Classical has always been pen, and we're
So that bug with education seems to be a thing that is something broken in the underlying code of the game. One would think that Colossal Order would have fixed that with all the bug fixing they've been doing, but one would have thought that land value would have worked on launch day too. So obviously there's some issues they're still working out with the basic educational system. I don't know. I don't know where they're at with this. This is just so weird to me that would not have already been hammered out. It's weird. So anyhow, there's a lot of things I want to like about this game. It's just not ready. It's not ready to be loved yet. I don't think. That's my verdict. They have made it so you can do code mods. That's good. That seems to work really pretty smoothly, especially for a beta, for a game feature that shouldn't be in beta, but it does work. It works pretty well. No complaints here. Let me think. What was the other thing I was going to say? As far as the base game goes, the underlying stuff and all that, I would say it's not ready yet. I mean, look at all those rent too high things. I mean, obviously something's amiss, or this wouldn't be happening, or at least I'd have some idea of why the rent is too high. And I don't really have a clue. So something is up with this, and I've seen people post that the land value bug is kind of a problem still. So there's still a lot of stuff, a lot of things they need to work out. I think it's going to need at least another 6 months before it's there. I'd like to be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. It might even be another year. So as for console players, I would say you're at least waiting till the end of the year. I think they'll try to push it out for Christmas. That's probably your best hope. But I'm dubious as to whether that will actually be ready by then. Because there's still a lot of things to work out. Like, they should be polishing this, not continuing to make it work. Code game. It's moving in the right direction. Jury's still out. I think the jury... I don't think this is ready to go before a jury yet. Tom Jacobs, would be nice if we have a replay of an accident, see what happened. We could... Yeah, I like that idea. That's a good one. That's a really good idea. I actually really like that idea. That would be super cool. Especially if you could have train wrecks, because I don't know if you guys have ever seen videos of train wrecks. They're impossible to ignore. You can't miss a video of a train wreck. It's a train wreck. So they're fun to watch as long as you know there's no passengers involved. If there's passengers involved, it's not fun to watch. Unless you find out all the passengers are totally safe and everybody's fine and nobody got hurt. That's usually not the case. Anyway, the availability of workplaces info view helps understand why there's so much rent too high. The availability of workplaces. See, my unemployment is down at 4.4% though. So there's a lot of jobs. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, the rent was too high. Okay, so if you have a lot of jobs, but you don't have enough housing, this is a Silicon Valley problem, then the rent goes sky high. I did not have a lot of jobs. My unemployment was high, and I had housing available. I mean, honestly, I've lost a lot of population. It looks like I've got seniors and stuff like that. You know, this rebalance mod is doing some weird things here. So I'm guessing that there should be empty housing available right now, which means that the rent should be going down in spite of the unemployment, or it should be flat anyway, in spite of the unemployment being rather low. Yeah, if unemployment is low, that means there's not a lot of jobs open, which means that your rent's not going to go very high. So yeah, I mean, my rent shouldn't be getting worse. The rent problem shouldn't be as bad as it is right now. Like, it hasn't changed. It doesn't make sense. So the availability of workplace info view, where is that? Let me see if I can find that. Workplace availability. Now, it could be that I have an educational imbalance somewhere, but it doesn't look like I do. I've got a lot of highly educated jobs, but I've got a lot of highly educated citizens. I don't have a lot of well-educated citizens. That's probably because they don't get to go to high school. So hopefully that will get better, but I don't know if this is necessarily going to fix the rent too high thing. I'll have to let it run and see. But yeah, okay, so that's useful, Adam. Thanks for pointing that out. Hopefully it'll balance out, but I don't think that's really going to change it. A higher zone density or different zoning might be needed. So that basically is saying, oh, we've got lots of residential demand. We don't have enough supply to meet it. But we should have supply because we're losing enough people that the hearses can't keep up. The workplaces aren't well distributed and the Sims don't travel very far. Okay, so no, that's a whole other issue. And that makes me wonder if pathfinding is messed up because, oh, how far is this? Let's see here. How far are these grids? I think they're 384 meters, but I don't remember. Whoops. Nope. I wish I could measure things. Okay, so 4 blocks is 384 meters. So roughly about 400, let's say. So these workplaces are 1, 2, so that's half a mile. That's not out of the question walking distance wise. Driving distance, easily within driving distance. So let's say you have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 2 miles away just to get over here. That's not far. There shouldn't be any problems getting to work. There's public transportation. That really shouldn't be the issue. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying something has to be broken for it to be the issue. That's my opinion. And that's something I've this has been a thing since the launch of the game. I don't understand what's going on with this. So and the other thing too is a lot of workplaces are well distributed throughout, like I've got commercial all over the place, but the typical American development pattern is, you've got downtown and you've got the industrial parts, and you've got all the businesses there for, people to work at. And I've got a lot of mixed use in this town. I mean, I think most of this is mixed use. And most of this is mixed use. I could be a little off on that. I think there's some mixed use in there. So it's not like people are having trouble getting to places. If anything, things are too convenient, and then maybe that's why they want to charge higher rent, but people aren't making that kind of money, and I have no idea why. The educational imbalance actually makes more sense. I don't know that any of these have okay, so some of these have upgraded. And that's the other thing too is, you know, like, I don't know, there's different types of industry here. Like this one here looks like it is productive industry, but then there are some that are warehouses. Where are some warehouses? I think there's some that are warehouses. Having trouble finding. Oh, yeah, these look like. No. Okay, yeah, here's a warehouse. Yeah. I think that's a warehouse. Yeah, that's a warehouse right there. So they're not producing anything. They're just storing stuff, storing metals. Yeah. That one's productive. But these ones are warehouses. And what I don't understand is why they didn't give you any control over where the warehouses spawn. Because I might want to control that. You know, zone this area for warehouses and not productive uses, because a warehouse is going to have maybe some noise pollution, but they're not going to have air pollution and water pollution and all that other stuff, because they're just moving stuff around. You know, like what's the worst that's going to happen is maybe a forklift leaks, or a box or a can or something leaks, and maybe there's some contamination from that. But I mean, you've environmental regs that make it so they got to clean that up before it gets into the environment, it causes pollution. That would actually affect nearby residents. So you could have warehouses, and maybe they'd be a little noisy, but you could, you know, put them next to a residential neighborhood as kind of a buffer, sort of like we did with offices in the original city Skylines. And then you could have the productive stuff that, you know, was more noxious use, and have it on the other side of the warehouse, so it'd be convenient for the warehouse to access. I mean, you could even put commercial next to that. Warehouses, and that would make it even better, because you'd go straight from the producer to the warehouse to the commercial, you know. So it's one of those things where the game just doesn't actually tell you how to fix it. It probably requires redevelopment in those suburbs, but also, yes, the sim is a bit broken. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, hey, thanks for coming, you guys. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. I hope that this gives you some ideas of whether you want to buy the game or dig into the game. I appreciate everybody helping to answer me questions when I've had them, because I know some of you have probably been at this more than I have been. I'm really, you know, glad to see it trend in the right direction, but it doesn't seem like it's trending very hard in that direction. This is like an incremental step towards a functional game, and not like, okay, we're there, or we're almost there now. Like this just needs this one or two things fixed, and then it's going to work. I mean, for all I know, that's where it is, but I can't tell, because they're not being transparent about what's actually broken and what's not actually done. And I feel like if they say, oh, well, we don't have the economy fixed, we don't have the economy finished even, they feel like they're going to get sued for having, you know, sold us a game that they didn't actually have. So, yeah. I got to find a mod for this. This drives me crazy. And Colonel Ocioso says, let's go back to City Skylines 1. We might just do that. We might throw some Workers and Resources Soviet Republic and some Ostriv in there. And I've been playing New Cycle. I don't think that game is quite 100% there yet. But I will say this. I don't know if B-Ball-Joe's still here in the chat. But if he is, you know, give everybody a shout out there so that you can, they can see your name pop up. And then they can go to your channel. Because he is the authority when it comes to Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. He's how I learned how to play the game. He is a very, very awesome guy. Really, really helpful, and a lot of fun. A lot of fun to watch. Like, he is a cowboy player, and that means that he doesn't, necessarily spend as much time thinking every little detail out like I do. And when he does that, it leads to problems that he has to solve. And they're the same problems you're going to have when you play the game, and you'll see how he solves them. And you'll be like, oh, I didn't know that was what the problem was. Like he will cause the problems for himself and then fix them. And he's a lot of fun to listen to and watch. I don't know. I love watching his videos. So B-Ball Joe is the authority when it comes to Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. Give that one a try. I think Ostrov just added some new stuff. They have a lot of cool things. As an 18th century city builder, I've got a live on the channel here that you guys might want to check out. That is a really cool game. I love that because it is just so much simpler. It's not as much of a crisis management kind of game, although it is a crisis if you start running out of food, especially for your animals. Your animals all die, and you're like, I have all these animals. I don't have any food for them until next year. So I'll have to trade for more animals. There's just different things like that might happen, but it's not like everything's gonna come to a grinding halt that easily. I find that game challenging and satisfying at the same time. And kind of calming, because it is from the 18th century. Things moved a little different back then. It's very agrarian, and it's kind of fun to, see all the people out and about and all the animals out and about. Just a simpler kind of simulator with a lot of fun elements to it. Like, buildings that don't have to be on a grid. I think you'll really dig that. So check it out if you get a chance. That is made by a very, very small developer over in Ukraine. So, and I think they just dropped an update on that. So I have to go check that out myself. It has a pretty in-depth economy to it too, but it's not hard to learn. I find that game is getting easier and easier as they document a little better as well. Workers and Resources Soviet Republic still seems to have a learning curve. I haven't touched it in a little while, but I got to dig into that and start making some tutorials for it, because it is getting close to release, and I want to have a primer for people who are maybe coming from City Skylines who want to learn how to play the game. Okay, so thanks so much. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. You have a great rest of your day or evening or night or morning, wherever it is you are in the world, and we will see you soon.